Press start.
Let's start episode 180. My name is Tim. I'm here with Dan. Good to see you.
Good day.
You have more of a full beard happening right now?
I mean, it's not. It's fine.
It's coming in. I see something.
I'm 36 years old and I can't grow what you guys have. All right.
It looks good, man. It was nothing but a compliment, and that's how I read it.
Something's happening.
I appreciate it, but on the inside, I'm dying. So
no, it's happening. I also got
it's happening.
Derek down here. How's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
And Jeff in a totally normal place.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Is that your normal background? Blackground?
This is how.
What is this?
Blackground. No, you said it right. Blackground. Backwards. Blackground.
And
This
Kyle.
is a totally normal setup for me.
Yeah. No, nothing is amiss. It's just normal.
Everything's normal.
Yeah, everything's normal. You can see.
I'm still in Texas, obviously.
Yep. That's where it happens. Those of you who listen or watch and haven't picked up on it, or maybe you're checking this out for the first time for whatever reason, we have Colorado, we have Massachusetts. Did I get that right, Dan? Yeah. Okay. We got Florida, and we've got Texas. So we kind of have like this. We circle the right half of the country.
We're a melting pot.
right. Yeah, sure.
A melting pot of white people.
And so none of that has changed. It's all still the same.
Why would it be different?
I don't know. So it's all the same. It's also the same. By the way, this evening I'm finishing off a drink my wife started but didn't really want to finish. This very girly Cayman Jack Paloma. It's actually pretty tasty, if I'm being honest. It's pretty sweet.
That
They
what
usually
fruit
are
is
tasty.
That? What fruit is that?
It's grapefruit juice and agave nectar.
Sounds terrible.
Not bad. It's not bad.
That sounds.
I'm drinking
It's just a soda, basically. It just happens to have alcohol in it, but it's basically a soda.
I have multiple whiskeys in me, but I will behave.
That's
Please don't. Please don't.
Yeah, don't promise that.
Okay.
All right. Well, we got some stuff to get to. Episode 180. What can we celebrate that's special for episode 180? I don't know if there's anything specific. Nope. I can't.
It's our 1080 snowboarding episode where we talk about 1080 snowboarding the entire.
That's a missed opportunity right there.
This is where one of us does a 180 on our opinion on a game or something.
Hold on, let me do 180.
I actually
love
think Metal
that.
Gear Solid's overrated and kind of pretentious.
Boom.
Did a 180.
Tears of the Kingdom is overrated.
Yeah,
There
Tears
we
of the
go.
Kingdom
That's a
actually
180
isn't
right there.
special at all.
That's a
I
hell
don't
of
know.
a
180. 180 can't just be what's overrated. It's got to be something else. It's got to be like Dan finally admits that Elden Ring was the best game of last year. Like that's got it. Like that's the kind of 180.
that's-
that
No,
I'm looking
maybe-
for.
I'm not gonna lie to everybody. I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna go off color, and I'm not going to. I was gonna be like, maybe, what? Gamergate was right, guys. That's my 180.
I don't even know
Sure.
how. I don't even know.
I don't know what the stance of Gamergate
I don't even know what
is.
that
I don't
means.
know.
I was gonna say, I don't even know
I was like, I don't
what
know enough
gate
about
was
that.
that.
I still don't know to this day really
the
what
best
that's.
stance on that is to not have a stance because you're evil either way. So just don't say anything.
So
That's
doing
usually-
a 180 would be
just
having
follow
a
the-
hard stance on it. I
Follow
really
the Tronics. Don't do anything. DDA. Don't do anything.
Yeah,
We need
don't
Tronics.
do anything.
Violence is violence.
Here's the PG version of Will Sasso says, "My stuff's effed up. Okay, my
Yeah.
stuff's effed up, and I need some Tronics."
You know what? My
need
stuff,
some
it's
Tronics.
it's effed up, and might need some Tronics.
Hey yo.
Hey,
Quit being
hey,
a Mark
yo.
Tronics.
So when are we getting Chad on this podcast? Because he's doing podcasts for like
Yeah.
He's
every
doing
Saturday.
20-minute
he's-
podcast sprints. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, so we got a couple. There's really not a ton of new games to cover. I am interested to hear about Atlas Fallen, which is kind of the
Me too.
at least 2-3 times a year. There's one of these AA games that comes out from these studios that are often sneaky good, and this looks like it might fall into that category. So we'll talk about that game. But really nothing else of significance. A couple games got bumped actually that we're not going to talk about that we were going to. But I think most of us are pretty caught up in pretty hefty 2023 games that we're still trying to churn through, or maybe you're playing through something on the backlog. So we'll talk about all those things. I also want to do a tournament if we have time. I'll save it for the end because I know those can be lengthy. And if for some reason we chat a ton, we'll do the tourney a different week. It's not necessary.
We never talk a lot though, so
We don't.
fine.
No,
Shouldn't be a
Real
problem.
real breezy
chatty.
shows. Real breezy.
And then, of course, some headlines, several headlines. Some are more interesting than I anticipated. As I was looking over them just a few minutes before the show, I was like, oh, yeah, there's some cool stuff that's been announced. So we need to talk about that. But let's get right into it. A game I was hoping to play this week. I know at least 2 of you had your eye on it too, Jeff and Kyle, and that's Wrestlequest, this indie developed RPG game with this throwback wrestling kind of 80s, 90s, mostly 80s wrestling theme throughout. We all played the demo and thought, or at least saw footage of it and thought, this looks interesting. This looks fun. The reviews came out, which is why this is awkward. It's not reviewing super great, but it's not enough to scare me away. I'm just more like, not as excited about it.
It's on par with Fight Forever reviews, honestly.
Exactly. Where I'm like, I still think
yeah.
I'll play it and I'll still get some good chuckles and have a good time with this game, is my bet.
They included wrestling journalists that have been around since the 80s in the game as playable characters.
Did they really?
So absurd. Yes, Dave Meltzer is like one of the most famous wrestling journalists, and he's famous for rating stars on a 5-star scale or whatever. And wrestling fans take that as like gospel to like recommend matches to people. And they put his nerdy ass in the game, and it's like a 6-year-old man with no sideburns and like a weird haircut. It's really weird. But it just shows that the developer like cares about the whole wrestling fan base enough to put, I don't know.
Yep.
They seem to care.
They do. I think so. There's lots of winks and nods, and it seems like some of the names, if I remember correctly, some of it was like, that's the actual name of that person or wrestler, or at least it seemed like it to me. But in most cases, it's some kind of funny little, almost the same name as that person or character. So, but clearly designed after them. So anyway, I'm looking forward to playing that. It did get delayed by a couple weeks. It was supposed to come out on the 8th, and now it's
weird.
22nd.
Like the day before it was going to come out, it was like, we're pushing it. It's like
very last minute.
But silver lining though, I don't know if any of you guys saw the clip of it. A couple of the devs were on Kinda Funny, and they were hanging out with Greg, and they were chatting, and one of them took a guitar right to his dome there, and he did the whole wrestling.
That was Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, that was Jeff Jarrett that did that. Yeah.
So that was
really fun.
All right, I like that.
Greg Miller is a hack, and
he sold it. He sold it like he died, and it was hilarious.
He's charismatic, and he's where he's at because he's who he is. So,
but also, yeah, fuck Greg Miller. So
right. Also fuck Greg Miller. You're here first, everybody.
Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday with Candid Kyle over here. He's just
hey, Dan was participating. All right, I only felt comfortable because I had backup.
Fair enough.
Really, you all should hate Tim, not.
Did you see that video I sent?
Sure.
Tim
I haven't.
I
haven't.
Sometimes I see
Tim is the
Greg.
blame, and we're
everybody
talking
always
Tim,
knew it was Tim.
Not like Tim, kind of funny Tim.
Well, I see Greg, and I'm like, this dude, I think, has always wanted to be talk show host type of dude. He's not a full-on comedian, but he knows he's clever and he's good at. He's a conversationalist, and you might hate him, but he's good at that. He's good at kind of like holding a stage and kind of keeping things moving.
No, there was a whole time that I thought he was one of the best in the biz. Yeah.
Now I'm not a fan of his.
I don't.
I see him as being very fake. I don't see him as being genuine, so that's why it's hard for me to connect with him. But he's good enough at what he does, of course, to keep getting jobs. He's getting high-profile gigs. It's great, So, but I do think Tim
but
Geddes
you know who else got high-profile jobs? Hitler. I'm just saying.
Also, Tim, he has cancer. So if you're like, obviously you're not pro cancer or whatever. So, or maybe you are pro cancer. I don't know.
I don't want to reveal my stance on
cancer. So we dropped the H bomb, and then Kyle with the C bomb over here. Cancer and Hitler. What else are we checking off
so
here?
Are we trying to say Greg Miller is Hitler with cancer? Does Greg Miller currently have cancer?
Like,
no,
if
there's
I thought there's a kind of funny thing.
Yeah, I thought he beat it.
If there's a kind of funny thing going on that seems interesting to me, I'll watch it. Like, Greg's not my favorite, but I don't have a problem watching content that he makes. But there are certain personalities out there, and Tim Geddes is one of them. There's a few others actually that are on kind of funny that I just have trouble. Like,
kind of funny, Tim. I like this Tim. I don't like.
Thank you, guys.
We have the better Tim, obviously.
And you know what, Tim? You are kind of funny. So it's
there's a lot of.
Why are you not the Tim on Kind of Funny? I don't get it.
Interesting. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. There's a lot of Tims out there. Don't trust all of them. And I say that as a Tim. All right. So Wrestlequest in a couple weeks, at least a couple of us, I'm certain will have it and try it and let you know what we think. But that's a few weeks away.
It's the same day as Immortals of Avium and Fort Solace, I think.
Wow.
So that's going to be a tough one to squeeze in.
That's getting bumped.
Yeah, that's going to be a real busy week. So before I have Derek share about Atlas Fallen, we'll spend a bulk of our kind of like new stuff this week on that.
I played a little bit of it too. but only like
okay.
an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's 2 other quick games I wanted to mention in case you're a fan of these genres. If you're not, of course, ignore them. One is, do you remember Medieval Dynasty? I think it's on Game Pass. It came out also on Steam and other platforms.
I remember having conversations about it.
It's like a survival simulation game. You end up building up a village, and you can hire people to come work in your village. Like it's a simulation survival game where it kind of turns into medieval village management over time. It's very slow. Like you have to have patience and like those kind of games. There is action and fighting, but it's not amazing. And if you're going in for a fighting, like for the combat, you're going to be disappointed.
Sure.
So that being said, like that kind of, I think it's another Swimming in Seven style of game because it's a little janky. Well, they made one that's set in Japan called Sengoku Dynasty, where you actually run apparently multiple villages. It's the same.
It's basically Nobunaga's Ambition. Like that's basically
like a first person version of that.
Okay, yeah, not like a strategy game.
You're actually walking
like
around the
survival.
village, like hold X to build this wall or whatever, you know. So so Sengoku Dynasty, it's getting like, again, so reviews, but people who are reviewing it are saying, listen, don't listen to the idiots who played 20 minutes and thought it was something else. If you're watching on YouTube, there's some things happening on a screen. Wait. Okay. I thought I saw something. I think maybe
I live here alone, so that was really weird.
I thought I saw something behind Kyle.
No,
maybe
that's
not.
really weird. I don't know what that was.
We'll have to go to the tape later.
I only saw it on the camera. Every time I turned around, I didn't see it. So
I don't think it was anything. Let's just keep moving.
Okay,
so
thanks. Yeah.
Sengoku Dynasty looks pretty good. Give it a whirl if you like simulation survival. And also apparently multiple villages you can kind of manage. Like, I don't know how much into the weeds it gets. I love the milk dripping off your stash right now. And then lastly, if you're a Mega Man X fan, like that series, welcome back, Jeff. Jeff, you missed it, man. There was something weird. There was something that happened behind Kyle, and we don't know what it was. It was weird. We couldn't get
a little bit how haunted my place is, so it probably doesn't come to any.
It was blurry.
I heard that. I heard this place was. I mean, Kyle's place was haunted.
Yeah, right.
My place.
It must have been. It must have reflected off of his milk mustache or something.
I think it was the milk mustache.
Yeah, it was like a reflection.
More clean about it.
Dan, I think we need to find that point in the recording. Screenshot Kyle with the milk mustache. Thumbnail. There it is. Right there. That's
just that.
It just says episode 180.
Men drink
Everyone's
milk,
like,
guys,
what?
Okay, I won't sit here and be made fun of.
If you liked Mega Man X, go try 30XX. It's a sequel, actually. They made another one called 20XX that I think was pretty good, but this one apparently, according to user reviews that I'm reading, it improves it in every way. It's got some roguelike qualities, but it also has some qualities of like, I want a Mega Man X game, and all they're giving me are collections. It's like, well, here's a new one, and it's really excellent, apparently, from what I'm reading. And it's $15, I think, on Steam. I'm not sure if it's elsewhere. I think it is, or probably will be if it's not yet. But that game looks really cool. If you want to give that one a whirl.
Yeah, I think I remember playing the 20XX one in PAX like a while back. I think that one came out a while ago, so I thought pretty fun.
The only thing is, people who love Mega Man games usually love the fact that you can kind of memorize the levels, and over time you just kind of like know the level by like the back of your hand. These are procedurally generated levels, so it's different. It's a different level, a different type of challenge. So anyway, all right. And then Atlas Fallen came out this week as well. Derek's been playing it. Jeff's been playing it a little bit. What do you guys think? How is this game?
I mean, it's. I don't even feel like it's worthy of Swimming in Sevens.
Ooh,
the little bit I've played, it's just so cringe. Like, I'm sure it'll get fun once I get like more into it, but my main focus is Boulder Gates 3 still. But it's very cringe.
That's
like
not even how you say it. A little bit, I don't think.
What?
You said Boulder Gates 3. Like, that's
Boulders.
Boulders?
Yeah,
I'm just being a jerk. Go ahead.
Boulders.
It's the Paloma talking.
Tim's out of control.
Yeah. I would rather have Tim Geddes, to be honest with you.
Oh, you take that back.
No, that's just terrible.
All right, well, surprise, Tim's actually here with me.
I'm quitting.
Come on
I'm
in.
quitting. Yeah, guys, I like Smash Brothers. He gives Smash Brothers fans a bad name.
It's just a lot of the dialogue, the animations, the graphics. I mean, I'm playing on PC, so can't imagine I can get it to look better. And I feel like it looks pretty bad. I didn't expect like a full-on AAA experience, so I don't think my expectations were too high. I just didn't expect it to be Like I remember because these are the guys that made
Surge.
Yeah, the Surge games.
Oh,
And
okay.
those games were pretty quality.
I was gonna say I remember them looking pretty good.
Yeah,
Sure.
and
Yeah, like,
in
look
this
Yeah, the
game,
second one looks awesome.
I think when you're
visually.
in the action and like playing, it's fine. You're not gonna look at it and be like, "This is what? Why is he saying this is ugly?" I'm talking like when you're running around the camp and talking to people, which in the beginning of the game you're doing that a lot, and you're talking to people and you're listening to like what they're saying. You're like, "Oh my gosh, was this written in the early '90s or something like that?" Like it's really bad.
Oh, like
Like
Outriders.
some of the Outriders.
Yes,
actually
yeah,
way
that's
better.
yes, it's exactly like Outriders.
Hold on
I'm
a minute there,
sorry,
dude.
but that's cool.
But yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm actually surprised that reviewers are giving it the scores that they're
I'm
giving
kind of
it.
because the reviewers have been so kind, I guess is the right
Yeah,
word.
I thought they were
figured,
too.
Mostly, yeah.
I figured you were going to be a little more on board with this. This is actually pretty
too.
surprising to hear.
Yeah.
And I don't,
well,
and I haven't played it, so like
and I'm not
Same.
far into it because, like I said,
Yeah.
I'm mainly focusing on Baldur's Gate, and I'm not focused on Atlas Fallen. I don't want to get
It's pronounced
distracted.
Bladder's Gate.
I really wish you wouldn't support games that all
Bladder's
devs hate.
Gate.
You know, I really wish you would be more pro dev, Derek, and not like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like all everybody else.
I know. I should like Atlas Fallen. Well, actually, there's nothing wrong with Atlas Fallen. They're not nickel and diming. They're actually kind of cheaper. I think they're $60 on console.
They are.
Yeah.
50 on
And I
isn't it
paid
50 on
40
PC?
for it.
Yeah.
I feel like 40's fair. Anything under 40 is fair. I think anything over 40, I feel like you are overpaying for this
Yeah,
experience.
I overpaid.
But again,
Oh, 'cause you
I'm
got
not
PS5,
far
right,
enough
Jeff, so there's
in
no
to say, hey, the combat's really opened up. That's the other thing. Like, the little bit of the combat I have played, I haven't loved it. Like, again, not bad, not broken, just not fun.
Yep.
The thing that's been the most fun is when you get your ability to, ski on sand. That's pretty cool. But other than
Oh
that,
yeah, I haven't even gotten that far, so I guess I'm not really an
I
hour
didn't
in.
realize it was kind of a Monster Hunter-esque game. Where, like,
Yeah,
you're,
kind
I wasn't
Oh, it
aware of that
is?
at all from the marketing. So yes, yeah.
It's like open area.
well, you can like kill
I
the
didn't know
part,
that.
like you can kill certain parts of the beast, but like the leveling up system isn't as in depth of.
Yeah.
Even like the gear system isn't as in depth as a Monster Hunter.
The traversal did look cool though. Is that
The
part fun?
traversal's cool. Yeah, that's cool. And I think the combat will be more fun when I play it more. But
I hear
the
the
little bit
combat's
I
like the
played-
star of the show. Yeah, but
yeah,
like,
I think
I
that's
don't
why
know.
it's getting 7s. Is people are going, I don't care about the story. I don't
Listen,
care
I'll
about
deal
the
with a
voice
bunch of pop in if which is
right.
what I hear is the worst. Is like the pop in is like
Is it-
completely out of control in this game.
Class based. You pick a starter class, and that's how the combat feels. And you maybe just need to pick a different class.
Oh.
Or
So far, all I've done is pick. You don't even pick your character. You just. Well,
You
you
start.
pick like
You
you pick
customize
what.
them, but that's it.
Yeah, you customize,
okay.
but there's no.
so it's
like,
a basic
class or-
basic combat for everybody at the
Yeah.
beginning. It's
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Do
You unlock
you know?
the
Does
same
it like
weapon.
does it web out a bit? Like depending on, can you pick a different weapon and specialize in a
So
certain
far,
way?
all I have is my main and my secondary, and they didn't give me a choice. They weren't like, "Do you want to do this as your main?" It was just,
Yeah.
"This is your main. This
Yeah.
is your secondary.
Okay.
This is your armor to start." And then I'm
From
now
what I've
just
seen so
getting
far, I
into the
think it's
open area.
RPG very light.
Okay.
That's a genre. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I expected it to be much deeper than that. I did for some
I
reason.
was
did too.
hoping it would
Maybe because it was
be-
open in the gameplay and stuff in the
Yeah.
previews. It was
Just-
I
pretty
was
the
hoping
open.
it
brief
would be
trailers
like
that I saw, I thought that.
Kingdoms of Amalur or a Darksiders game, which it potentially could be like Darksiders, but I was hoping more of the RPG systems of Kingdoms of Amalur, and I don't
Yeah.
feel like
I'm
they.
always wishing for more Kingdoms of Amalur. So
Yeah.
I kind of got similar vibes from this too. It's like this could
Yeah.
be something like that. And
I played that game because of
Sounds
y'all,
like
and
that.
that game is so good.
I still
Yeah,
that's on my
I will
backlog. of games.
probably
It's a game.
180 my opinion on
Dan.
this
I
as
have it, I
I
have it.
play it more.
yeah.
Well, it
I
is
can see
episode
that.
180, so I mean that would be fitting.
Right.
Yeah. But just the little bit, it's not a game I could tell people go buy
Right.
it. Like I know like Jesse and Rob buys a lot of games, but he doesn't like play them. And then Jesse doesn't buy a lot of games, but he plays a lot of games. So I
Yeah, he
don't
plays
understand.
everything he gets, pretty much. It seems like.
over
Yeah,
and
like,
over and
good job,
over and
Jesse.
over.
Which is,
So-
let's be honest, that's probably the most mature way to game. That's
Yeah.
So props
Jesse's
to him.
the best
for
of
that.
us. Yeah.
So I told like they were
Bestie.
asking like
No, that's
how
not
good
right.
it was, and normally I sell them on stuff. Like I could easily sell them on Baldur's Gate, and in fact I told Rob I'm not gonna sell you on it because I'm not gonna have you buy it and not play it. But like Atlas Fallen, I was like, no, just stay away from this.
Yeah.
You both would complain about this game. Just stay away from it.
I actually agree with everything Derek said so far, and I'm not as far in as he is, but yeah, even just from interactions in camp, there's a lot of jank. There's so much jank, and the writing is just not good.
Writing's bad, and then the camera.
The
like,
second
way
I
it
heard that it was
twitches.
another game where a bracelet's talking to you, I was like, no, I've already played.
It
one
is.
Of these
It's
this
a
year.
it's a
Yeah,
Kyle.
I've already played one of these this year.
Okay?
No thanks.
Yeah, it's
That's
literally
the first time I
Forspoken.
heard that. Now I'm super out. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
And that's why I heard it was like they're like
Like cuff.
I don't remember if it was multiple
Tough,
reviews
yeah.
or at least one reviewer was like, "This is the Forspoken we wanted." I'm like,
Eh,
God,
I
you guys
saw
are really
a lot of reviews
stupid
that
about
were
Forspoken.
mentioning Forspoken, but never in a positive way, like you just said.
Ah.
Yeah.
Like
So.
Forspoken was so far like I obviously on the podcast liked Forspoken way more than you guys, but
I certainly like
like-
Forspoken more than.
I was gonna say the little
More
I
than
played of
Atlas
Forspoken
Fallen.
interests me more than the none that I played of this. So.
Production
Yeah.
values were higher though too, right? That helps a
Yeah.
ton.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
triple
Sure.
A.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
too
But
much-
that's what
too much-
everybody complained about, though. They were complaining about like it's not very good looking on the PS5. It's very
I mean,
bland. Blah
I
blah
would say
blah.
that like when you look at the particle effects, you're like, yeah, that's where the graphics are. But yeah,
Yeah.
I can
Huh.
see. I can see
That was
I guess.
definitely not my complaint and why I put down Forspoken.
Yeah, I didn't hear any of you really talk about the
Forspoken
visuals in a
was just kind
negative
of a-
way.
Like I didn't care. About what
I
was doing
liked
at all.
how
I
it
think
looked
whenever
on
I was like
TV.
trying to look for a lamb or something like in town of Forspoken, I was like, no, I'm out on all this.
Yeah, speaking of 180s, that was a game that when it was first announced as Athia something or Project Athia or whatever it was called,
Yeah.
that I was like from that first
Pumped.
reveal and the way they were showing the character running and jumping and kind of like dashing around, I was very hyped for it. And we saw a little bit more, we got the name of it, and my hype level didn't really increase. It was just kind of like the same, like, all right, this still looks pretty cool. But then as they started showing, I felt like, just for me personally, maybe not for everybody, trailer after trailer after trailer, we were seeing so much of this character and her story, and they were giving us, I just started to kind of lose interest, and I can't really explain why outside of the fact that I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, and then the
You hate
demo was just
women and black
demo was
people.
not good, and I was like, all right, so I'm
That's what it
out
is.
on this. one.
Yeah, I really should have listened to my heart on the demo because I was like, I hate this, and I was
I
like,
didn't like
yeah,
it.
you know, I want to support a new IP, so I want to try it. Maybe like it makes sense, and it does. Like it makes more sense to combat as you like naturally get to it, but like, yeah, I don't know. Nothing fixes that writing.
I
you
didn't
know?
like the demo either, but I didn't have I didn't play much of the demo. I just started it and was like,
Sure.
this seems kind of bland. But I had already planned to buy the game, and I also did not like the stuff they were showing with the girl and stuff. But I thought the combat would be cool, and I thought the open world would be cool. And I was the opposite of a lot of people. I liked the open world. I loved running around it, jumping everywhere, and
Got
collecting
some good
stuff.
move mechanics, yeah.
And then, I just got into a rhythm where I was like, yeah, I would explore a little bit, but I was mainly playing it to get through the story quests, and I enjoyed this story. Definitely dumps at the end. We talked about this already when I reviewed the game, basically, and it gives you a story lore dump at the end that's pretty like, oh my gosh, really? 30 minutes straight of you just talking when you haven't done this the whole game?
Very
but
Kojima.
Yeah, but but not as well done.
Don't you bring his name into this, okay?
But
How
purely
dare
from
you?
gameplay and world, I really liked it, and I thought it's one of those games where it's like, okay, you did a lot of missteps. If you ever, they'll never make a sequel, but if you ever make a sequel, you could fix this.
Yeah,
You
they're
can
not
make
going
it
to.
more interesting, but it's gonna die.
All right, well, so Atlas Forspoken, not a recommendation from you.
Not now,
At the
but I will
moment, at the
definitely
moment.
have more impressions next week because I'm sure.
yeah,
I'll
I'd be
play it.
interested to hear more if
Okay.
you get some more time into it.
I'll be playing it more, because I'm on vacation this
You
week.
kinda-
Don't worry,
but you
don't
also
worry about
have
it, though.
to.
Don't worry
You
about
have-
details.
Don't worry about the details of what's happening with your vacation. No one
Yeah.
needs to know any of that stuff. That's your private business.
That's-
What
Um,
vacation? Are you on vacation?
But But you can't.
might
It's
be.
like you can refund it on Steam or something. Like you have it on PS5. You have it. Like I could see you just trying it out. A little bit. Yeah. All right, Kyle's gonna take a break, guys. We'll just give Kyle a second here.
He just quit. He rage
he's
quit.
out. He's very out.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
pretty abrasive.
That was very abrupt.
I
He's
really
very
didn't
upset.
like that.
Yeah.
I think
All right,
he
well, whatever.
feels
We don't know
very
what-
strongly about Forspoken, you know. So.
He does. Yeah. Oh, Jeff, you got
That's
like
weird.
I think there's a dog or something that's coming through. I don't know.
Yeah,
what-
there's some kind of weird dog.
Yeah, something's. I don't know
Are
what
you
that
like
is.
cozying up with your girlfriend right now?
Yeah, something's happening with Jeff
I
right
don't
now.
know what's going on.
I mean,
It's not certainly not anybody.
you
that
might
just
need
rage
to
quit.
reset your router. Is what I think you have to do.
That's what it is. You know
All
what?
right,
yeah.
but if
That's a
you
good
guys
idea.
think that's a dog, I'm
Go ahead and turn
concerned.
this off.
Yeah, there was
Looks
something
more like a
I had
werewolf.
to go throw up. I've been
Yeah,
drinking
it's
all
like a
night. Sorry.
Sasquatch or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something was really
Kyle's,
strange. I think Jeff needs to reset his router. He's got some kind of connection issue. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what it is.
We think like a dog and/or girlfriend may have been walking through the screen. We weren't sure.
Maybe a Sasquatch that
a
And
hairy
I may be
girlfriend.
happy or offended by that statement. I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
A hairy
Yeah,
dog
yeah.
girlfriend. Got it.
All right, well, let's go ahead and do quick hits now at the beginning, since there's not a ton of new stuff. Well, what have you been playing then? If you haven't been
Yes.
playing new stuff, what are the things you have been playing and watching? Let's talk about that.
Freeze frame.
Are we good?
I don't know. why I
Okay,
did
all right. I wanted to do it too.
what?
that. I meant to go into hey.
Okay.
Oh sure. Yeah.
We need some sound effects. I need to get a board. I need to.
We
I need to
should get a
level up.
soundboard. Yeah.
I need
yeah.
to level up on that.
Tim, I need you to spend more time editing.
Yeah, right.
50 hours editing.
You know what? Okay,
Yo.
so here's and real talk for a sec. I don't want to spend more time editing. That part's not fun. But I
I
would
know.
spend more
I know
time.
a Tim that would be willing to
I
do
would spend money
Geddes.
and time to like learn a little like board and get sound effects. That'd be really fun.
Just put it in live. Yeah.
I would love to do that. And I think it's just a matter of me like researching it, purchasing a couple pieces, plugging them in, and doing it.
Yeah, it's something to do with the interface. I'm sure. Like it's just some
I
audio
think
interface.
it's just program. Like, all right, this button
Yeah.
makes this sound. This button makes. I think it's really simple.
Yeah, but it's the trick is getting it to come through the call without
Correct.
having to be like point the mic at the speaker or something.
Correct. And without having to share my screen every time to share my audio. Like those are the tricks. I might have to use.
Hey
someone
guys,
else to
check
fix
out
that.
this fart. Yeah.
Well, I
Sure.
mean, like when I stream, for example, you can obviously like the stream deck, right?
You
Not Steam Deck.
stream? I didn't know that.
Stream Deck.
The
Different deck,
Stream Deck,
guys.
I do stream. Yes,
Can
I
you play
do.
Baldur's Gate on Stream Deck or?
Yeah, I could play it on the Stream
Stream Deck verified.
But like basically you can hotkey like sound effects and all various things. So I mean like there are doodads out there that
Yeah,
exist.
yeah.
sure.
There's
Yeah.
got, and I'm sure
For
for Skype there's like even built-in. I don't know.
Bill,
channels
maybe
that
Bill
do
Gates
the-
himself made something for like fart sound effects. Who knows?
So far, I've gone as cheap as possible. I've got a family to feed here, folks, and so
Sure.
know.
like Skype is free. It's
The
one of the
Brady
only
Bunch
ones
over
that
there.
lets you
There's
record.
Skype's effect.
Skype lets you record for the most part for as long as you want.
That
It'll
damn
just
near
kind
broke
of-
my cheap computer. Stop doing that.
Skype will just reset the recording, but you can keep recording on Skype and it won't charge you. Like everything else,
Right.
Zoom and everywhere else will charge you after like 45
Well,
minutes.
Apparently there was something added to Zoom that people are really upset about, something unsavory about like basically having rights to like anything that you like do in a call or something like that.
I
like,
thought that was implied that the people that you're doing the call on already own all that stuff.
No,
Like,
I
you-
don't know. Yeah,
I thought that was already implied by like.
I just
agreeing
don't
to
think
sign
about
in
it that
or-
way. It's not real.
Yeah.
That's how I
Exactly.
Sure.
Exactly.
All right. Like the Sasquatch we just saw a second ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sasquatch.
I don't know
girlfriend.
what y'all are talking about. I didn't see anything.
Sure.
It was just with
It's
your
a trigger
screen.
point.
I think it was lighting in your room. Don't worry about it.
Trigger
Yeah,
points.
yeah.
That's what it was. In my totally
and
normal
the room that he's
regular
always
room.
in, mind you, the room that
Yeah,
he's
this
always.
is Jeff's room.
This is
We
my
get it.
couch, and this
Yeah,
is my
it's really
black,
nice, that
my
couch.
background.
Couch.
Yeah, this is your couch. Dan, you weren't here last week. Why don't you catch us up on some of the stuff you've been playing?
Well, I put down that I finally finished Chained Echoes. It is
Hmm.
Good
coming.
job.
How was
So
that
I-
as like a whole experience?
Yeah, it's good. I definitely recommend it for anyone who loves retro RPGs, especially the Super Nintendo era. And again, the fact that this was made by just one individual, yes, he outsourced some other thing, like music, for example. I remember because I did kickstart the game. So actually, take whatever I'm saying with a grain of salt because I kickstarted it. I'm obviously in on this.
He's the producer. He's got,
Yeah. I have an agenda. So.
You got skin in the game. We understand.
Yeah. But I remember like when he was sending out the emails, like, oh yeah, here's like a track, give it a listen. So yeah, he outsourced some of the stuff, but primarily most of this game was done by one person. Incredibly impressive. Obviously there's like little nitpicks here and there that I have, but yeah, I would say overall definitely worth playing 100%. Especially if like you're excited for Sea of Stars coming up. Like if you're the kind of person you see a game like Sea of Stars and you're like, I want to play that, I would definitely give Chained Echoes a try at some point. Yeah, I don't know. It was just it was really fun, and the story is actually really dark and really interesting, and there's a lot of like really fun twists and turns, especially towards the end. There was some stuff that I couldn't like quite remember because it took me actually 55 hours to beat the game. Because I did do like most of the side quests, especially towards the end when I was trying. So the last time I spoke about it, Tim, when I was mentioning kind of the Suikoden element of
that's right,
kind of like having like a base. So once like I kind of went through all that, it's not exactly as in depth. It's a little more just kind of like you find a person and like it unlocks a thing, but it's not anything super crazy. But it's still like overall cool. Like the idea that it exists and what that element is within the game is cool.
Yeah, I agree. That's honestly, Suikoden is kind of the same way. You recruit a person and a thing in your castle unlocks for the most part.
Yeah. It just kind of does it in levels, and I actually had to use a guide. That was kind of my gripe with that, was like a lot of these people that you find are just like, they look like regular Joe Schmoes within the game. They don't look that unique. So you would have to happen to stumble across this character, start talking to them, and they're like, oh, you have a clan? Let me join the clan. So I ended up having to use a guy because I was like, I just want to find all of them and unlock the whole like island completely so I can like kind of, reap the benefits of that whole element. So, but yeah, so it was just like little things like that where I think if you took the time to maybe iron it out a little more, just to kind of like make it a little easier to like say find the characters or just like certain things that are hidden within the game that sometimes when you're exploring it seems a little more difficult than it needs to be. But the combat system is like really strong. I think that's one of the strongest elements of the game. And the story, I think the story is very well written. The combat system's really cool. I spoke to that before with the meter. It really keeps you on your toes. So it's not an easy game. I wouldn't say it's like unbearably difficult, but it's definitely not an easy game.
Like, what's there levels?
Is it easier than Octopath?
So there's no levels. It's actually kind of weird. So basically, you get into fights, and you basically are getting something that's building up. There's SP, and then there's like a currency where you can unlock like abilities, passive abilities, and actual like attack abilities. And after a certain amount of them that you unlock, it'll like just give you a bunch of stats. So plus attack, plus H, like it just kind of unlocks like a sheet of like +1 of whatever. But there's no like actual like levels, which
kind of just buying strength in that game, right? You're purchasing it with the SP.
Through unlocking the abilities within the ability sheet. So it's kind of different. I've never really seen a game do it that way. Not that I can think of anyway. So it is pretty.
I think Bladder's Gut did it that way.
Bladder's Gut. Yeah. Interesting. So they copied Chained Echoes, is what you're saying.
Verbatim. Verbatim means, right?
Yes, yes, that's exactly what it means. Sorry, Tim, was there something else that you had asked? Or
you had said it was not easy, so then it reminded me of the Octopath games, which I think are not easy games. You have to kind of work at them.
Yeah, this one is just more balancing the meter because, like, again, you basically start off in the first section of the meter, and then it goes into overdrive, where like you're getting your buffs. So like the abilities cost half the amount that they cost normally to do, and your attacks are doubled in strength.
Take less damage, right?
Maybe that also.
But enemies can screw it up, can't they? With their attacks, they can mess that up because it.
So what happens is like you have to kind of try to keep balancing, staying in that green section by doing the ability that it's asking for in that little window. So like if you need to do like a healing spell, like if the little icon is like a healing spell type of icon, then you have to do the healing spell next in order to move the cursor back to the left. Right. But then you don't also want to go all the way out of the green because then you're losing those benefits of being in the overdrive green section. And then you can end up in the red, which then you're taking double damage. So maybe that's what you were thinking.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. I only played the demo, so my memory on it's a little foggy.
Yeah. So it's really about like the balance of like doing the attacks that it's asking for, but then you do want to just kind of also do whatever attacks you want that aren't necessarily being asked for to bounce the cursor around in that green section. You want to try to stay in that as much as possible. It's a really fun game. I just think if anyone's into classic RPGs, definitely purchase it. It's not expensive, so
like $25 full price.
Even free if you're just on Game Pass. So, yeah.
Free on Game Pass because
I'm
you
sorry,
don't pay
no,
for
no,
Game
you
Pass.
can't
No,
say
no,
that.
it's
Sorry,
free.
everybody.
It's free.
No,
You don't pay for
sorry.
Game Pass. Game Pass is free.
Free.
Everything
Absolutely.
about Game Pass is free. Yeah.
Or pass.
For Pass.
so. But yeah, it's a good game. It's a
Nice.
very good game.
Yeah, it's one I've been keeping my eye on. I know there's mechs and stuff too, and I'm like,
The mechs are very cool, yeah. And the combat system is the meter is actually even a little. It's actually different when you're in the mechs too. So you actually have to learn how that works too. So it's kind of like
different mechanics there. Nice.
Yeah.
They had called it Fallen Echoes. Derek would play it, but it doesn't say that. So
True.
not gonna happen.
Or Chain Falls. I don't know.
Chain Falls.
That's not as good. That's not as good.
All right, well, good. Anything else that you got on that, or is that in the main?
I just
I'm like 55 out.
I started One Piece back up. I had not.
The new
Check
one.
back
The
in.
new.
Maybe you'll catch up
RPG?
in 10 years or something.
No. The anime. Yeah. I'll catch up.
Oh, yeah. You're never gonna finish that.
Yeah, well, I got to like episode originally like 110 or something, and then obviously some game came out and I stopped, and then
Right.
yeah,
They're on episode I think 273,000. So
Yeah.
get a little bit of ways
Yeah.
to go.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Sounds like
So
a real
I'm like-
number.
I'm like 0.5% the way there, but you know.
All right.
But that's actually it's got a lot of heart. I know I can see even just being in like 1/10 the way there of this anime, like because there's just obviously so many more episodes. The show has a lot of heart, and I can see why people really enjoy it and really enjoy it. The characters are very well written. There's a lot of meat to the bones.
Bad things don't get syndicated like that or get that many episodes.
Yeah.
So,
No kidding.
There's got to be something there.
It's been around for a very, very long time for a reason. So.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right.
that's
And then the live action thing for that comes out soon, right?
Yeah, surely that's going to be
question mark?
perfect. You know, surely.
It definitely looks amazing.
They always go really well. Every time.
I've not actually watched a live action anything based off of an anime. Although I've heard the Rurouni Kenshin ones are good. I've heard
the
that.
movies, yeah, those are excellent. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So that's cool. But
I remember enjoying parts of Speed Racer, but maybe that sucked too.
I
just
love Speed
remember-
Racer, but I'm
That
also a
movie
big.
rules.
I thought it was
I'm
fun.
also a big Wachowski fan. So
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
That helps. That helps.
I'm
For
a big
mine
Matthew Fox fan. I like the way he
and Christina
breathe talks through his
yeah, that cast is amazing.
his
Dude,
mask.
Christina,
It's amazing,
he
yeah.
did breathe talk through that. Man.
Kate, we have to
Kate.
go back. Kate,
We have to go back, Kate.
Kate.
Kate, we gotta win this race, Kate.
So a couple things. My wife and I've been watching Only Murders in the Building, which is really fun.
So
I
good.
highly
love that-
recommend it.
oh, love that
New
show.
season just came out.
Fantastic so
New
far.
season's out now. Yep. So
Murders.
If you want to see Paul Rudd be a delightfully goofball, aloof asshole, like this is definitely the show for
I haven't
you,
gotten to
yeah.
him yet, but that sounds like him from Parks and Rec. He's kind of aloof.
Parks and Rec, he's more
my
dumb.
God. Bob.
He's just
Yeah.
dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob,
Give me it. Give me it. Come on. Give me it.
Give me
my
it.
favorite.
Come on.
Goodbye. I want it. Yeah.
I want it. So yeah, we're loving that one. I highly recommend that. Also, highly recommend this too. If you ever want to just have a relaxed night of good laughs with friends, assuming you've got some friends you could gather for something like this.
Nope.
Get some
Next
food.
recommendation.
Get some drinks. I can't do it. Sorry. Get some food, get some drinks, and watch some really bad movies. And so there's a lot of
Yes.
really good ones out there. There's so many. I just did a quick Google on this just to see, like, there's already lists for this, right? And there's so many. There's so many
Oh, yeah.
really great
Yeah.
best bad movies.
Yeah,
to
the
watch.
best, worst of all time. And The Room is always at the top, like always.
Room is up there.
Yeah.
Mono's
Which is
Hands
a
of Fate.
wonderful watch with friends, by the way.
I still
It's
recommend-
wonderful watching a full theater. I recommend that in a full theater.
Yes, that's a
Still
great
recommend
experience.
Mono's Hands of Fate as your, like, that's the best bad movie because they're not trying to be bad and it's so awful. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And Puma Man was a classic Mystery Science Theater one. That was a good one too. Anyway, we watched Robot Monster, which is pretty awful. And there's this guy at the beginning. His name is what was his last name? His first name is Slick, which obviously not his real name, but he was this guy. He's a comedian who gets up and does all these impressions, and he's trying to showcase the 3D feature that's part of this film. And so he's like reaching out towards the audience. This is like 1953, and he keeps going like, "Whoa, sorry about that. Here, you need tissue. Here you go, son." It's really old school comedy. And he does all these impersonations of people that I knew like 50% of them just by name, and and anyway, it was all very like charming and awful. And then the movie starts and it's horrible. It's awful, but it was fun. We had a lot of good laughs, and so
Nice.
I recommend doing stuff like that. And then gaming wise, been playing some Switch these days. Played some Donkey Kong Country What's the Frozen one called? Frozen
Freeze.
Tropical
Ooh,
Freeze.
Tropical
Thank you.
Freeze.
Never finished Tropical Freeze, and so I started a new game with
It's a
my
hard
daughter.
game, man. That game
It is tough, but of course they have like the Funky Kong option. So she was Funky Kong, who has 2 extra hearts and can breathe underwater, and he's just much easier to use. He can float and everything. He has a big double jump. Like, he's very, very easy to use. So anyway, we played through a few levels of that, hoping to maybe roll credits on that game at some point. I really love it. It's really fun.
It's good. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
considered one of the greatest platformers ever. So
Donkey Kong Country Returns and that one are pretty excellent. So
both really, really good. Yeah, I agree with that. And then, of course, the other Switch game is a little thing called Tears of the Kingdom, little indie game, little AA project.
Oh, you mean the game that's trying to patent
Overrated
basic game mechanics, and we all hate that game now.
That's the one.
Yeah.
We hate Nintendo now because...
Is that the game where the weapons break? Pass.
Yeah, don't think so.
Hard pass.
Is that the one with the temples? Sorry, those are.
Oh yeah, these. Oh, okay, these are dungeons. Okay.
Yeah, these are real dungeons. Remember that, guys?
Speaking of which, in that game, I had just finished the opening. I'd gotten to Hyrule, and then I had just begun kind of exploring the edges of that first main map. Died a whole bunch, realizing I forgot how if you're unprepared and just kind of willy-nilly jumping into situations, you're gonna die quickly.
Yes.
And then other games, and honestly, in my case, like life stuff happened, and that got sidelined. And by the time I was like ready to jump back in with gaming, it was Final Fantasy 16 time, and that was so story driven. Once you kind of, especially after the demo, once you're hooked on what's going to happen next, that kind of became the game for me when I did have gaming time. So all that to say, I'm back on Tears of the Kingdom now and finished the Wind Temple, which is a blast and has a super epic battle. And
so cool.
The cinematics and characters you meet, I was like, they really upped their game. I'm not claiming that this thing has any right to be in the discussion for best narrative or characters or whatever. I'm not suggesting that.
They go out of their way to make you care, though.
It's really much better, and I care about them. I think they're very like charming, especially that the Wind Temple character that you end up kind of getting as a support when that thing's all said and done. I was like, man, I like these characters a lot, and the epicness, the epic scale.
Well, and seeing where certain characters are after, and it's convoluted. I don't know how many years have passed since like,
didn't really
he went missing.
I don't think.
But like, there's enough time where things have changed and people's relationships have changed
Right.
like that. And it's cool to check in with kind of old characters from Breath of the Wild too.
Right.
Totally agree with that. Yeah, and so puzzles continue to be clever. I mean, I stand by the fact that all these shrines, the same with Breath of the Wild, they have taken all their puzzle ideas that normally would have been grouped into, let's say, 7 or 8 large dungeons, and they would have been various rooms in these dungeons, and they would have used the best of the best. Now, instead, they're spread out throughout the whole world in shrines, and they're just these mini puzzles. Those are the puzzles they normally use.
Right.
And so, anyway, I thought the temple was a blast, and so now I'm moving on to the next part of the game. But I just recently, actually just in the last 24 hours of playing or so, got into the depths, which is crazy. That. Yeah. That all of a sudden I was like, this game is unbelievable, and the use of lighting down there is awesome, and the sense of exploration, and oh my word, there's so much more for me to explore, and that's not even to consider all the stuff that's way up above you.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
The sky islands. And so but the thing is, they reward you. Like everywhere that I've explored so far, it's not like I've just hit a dead end. Like, oh, okay, they just have this here for no reason. Like everything has had something.
Yeah,
a Korok seed or a chest with some special item or a weapon or something. So anyway, it's that game rewards exploration and experimentation. One thing I will say has been a blast has been finding some creative ways to get around, because I'm still not good at building a vehicle and powering it in that game. I'm just not good at that. Some people can build one, they create like a custom build that they can auto create real quickly, and maybe I could do that with some learning. But anyway, all I did was just take my shield and I fused it with a mine cart, and now I've got a skateboard that every time you just do your shield surf move, if there's any kind of slope, you can just go forever and you go really fast. And even on a flat surface, you can run and get some speed and cruise for a little while. So
yeah,
stuff like that's pretty cool. Or strapping a rocket to your shield if you need to get up super high. All that kind of stuff. It's just super creative, super fun. I love it. Love that game so much. So those are the main things that I've been playing outside of really nothing new for me. So yeah, that's my only new stuff is that. What about, well, Kyle stepped away. Jeff, let us know if you hear from him via text or something, obviously, because you're not near each other, what he might be doing.
Yeah, we're nowhere close to each other, so I don't know.
Yeah. If he happens to text you what he's up to, just let us know. Jeff, what about you? What you've been playing, watching?
This is technically new because it released this week. The Expanse episode 2, the Telltale game.
I forgot to add that. That's right.
That's okay though because it's like a continuous release, whatever. But episode 2 is fantastic. I was like looking at YouTube playthroughs just to see how long it is before I played it, and like a lot of them were clocking it at an hour 45. And then when I finished the episode, I was like, how are they getting it at an hour 45? Because it's definitely not an hour 45. I think it's
a lot of talking during those episodes.
Yeah, they must be exploring every option, and I tried to do that, but I even still missed some side objects that I needed to do some side missions.
I can't find the side stuff. I think I'm exploring everything, and I'm like, I'm not seeing.
I feel like I am too, but
I
think as I mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago when the first episode came out, you're doing a lot of spacewalks in the game, so like you have the opportunity to just kind of float around everywhere whenever you're in space. So I think the game wants you to float around like outside of those parameters, but I don't know where. I have no idea where it wants me to go. So I'm like missing some objects. Like it wants me to get medicine for a character at one point, and I'm like, I just totally missed it. And apparently
all the area that it told me to look for the medicine. I'm like, I'm not seeing this.
I didn't see it either. Yeah. And then if you look up the stats at the end of the episode, most people didn't get it. It was like 30% of people got it or something like that. Like
terrible game design.
Terrible game design for it. Yep, exactly. But I'm continuing to love the character stuff. Like you have the option of giving items to certain characters, and if you do, you get to extend your conversation with them. And like Khan in particular, I gave her something, and I was able to get her backstory, and it was just incredible. It was so awesome. Well written. And then there's a part later where I was able to investigate, I think, the doctor and get his backstory. Yeah, and he
is
had
that
a
thing where like you have limited items and you can only pick certain people to get backstory on, or it's a unique item for that person?
I think it just depends on how much you're willing to explore the ship before you go talk to them. Because actually, and the thing I gave Khan, I think I got it from the episode before. So you had to like actually explore and find it somewhere first, and then you can go give it to her. In the one with the doctor, you have the ability to search for certain things in the ship, but you have to do that first before you progress to his conversation. Otherwise, you're going to be shut out of a lot of options, I assume, especially if you just move forward with the main mission. But I love that about the game. It's very Telltale about it. It's just more Telltale. I missed it. I missed this type of game big time. And great, pretty solid cliffhanger. Not as good as the first one, I would say. I don't know. The first one ended on like heavier decisions, I felt like, and this one the decisions just didn't hit as hard for me. But it was still good, but it just didn't feel as heavy, you know. But yeah, I'm all aboard. I like the writing of this.
Nice.
I don't know if Kyle played it or not yet. He probably might not have had time yet.
Just maybe like text him or talk to him later, like online or something. Because there's no way to talk to him. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. You can't talk to him otherwise. There's no other.
No, I can't. Yeah, because we're nowhere near each other.
Yeah. I don't know why I brought that up. My bad.
Yeah.
As far as things,
telepathy is a thing, you know, or you know.
Yeah, you're right.
I literally haven't played any other games. I played that 1 hour of Baldur's Gate last Saturday, and I've been so busy this week that I just haven't gotten back around to it. Because I know when I start playing it, I'm not gonna want to stop playing it. It's gonna be a problem.
I think it's pronounced Burglar's Taint.
Burglar's Taint. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Or it's Bowler's Goat is what I like to call it. But continue.
Yeah.
I have watched a bunch of shows though, and I watched that submarine murder movie on Netflix that Tim mentioned.
How bizarre, right? Like you get
Into
to
the
see
Deep.
him. Like
he clearly knew what he was doing going in. He had a plan, and he had revealed it inadvertently to somebody that was helping him with the submarine that he was building. But they didn't take him seriously. And you know what? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done in that situation. Would I have taken him seriously too? I don't know. You know, I mean, it's hard to say. Right. But there's a lot of people that have survivor's guilt about it for sure. Yeah. But it is an interesting story. It's just not. Don't expect anything out of the ordinary with the documentary. It's just the story as is.
It's just the story, right?
Yeah. Speaking of documentaries, the docuseries Dark Side of the Ring finished their season, 4th season. And the show is just still delivering at such a high level and making me care about stories that I didn't even know about going in. Like they talk about Marty Jannetty, who was Shawn Michaels' tag team partner when he first started in the WWF.
Were they like the Rockers or something?
Yeah, they were the Rockers.
Okay.
and Sean turned on him and threw him through like a glass window or something. It was like a big angle, and Sean was the one that became the star, and Marty was not. So like, and then it goes into like where Marty Jannetty is at now, and he's like making all these claims on Facebook that he murdered somebody and all this stuff. It's a crazy episode. That was the last episode. The episode before that was about Bash at the Beach 2000, where Hulk Hogan, he's 70 years old, dude. Where he was supposed to wrestle, I think, Jeff Jarrett for the world title, and Vince Russo, who was like the WCW owner or head of creative at the time, came out during the match, and he told Jeff to lay down, and Hogan put his boot on him and won the title, and
it's that easy.
Like, he pinned him and just won the title, and like everybody was just booing, like, what the hell's going on?
I mean, it's like they didn't realize the finger poke of doom was hated by everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So they were, and apparently, according to Vince Russo, who was interviewed for the episode, and I think Jarrett was as well, was that all that stuff was actually scripted. All that stuff was scripted. What was not scripted, allegedly, according to Eric Bischoff, who was in the room with Hogan at the time, was Vince Russo coming out later and railing against Hogan. Like, because he came out later on in the show and did a shoot on Hogan, and he was like, screw this guy, he's old, he shouldn't be here anymore, blah, blah, blah. And he called him bald, which you don't do. You don't do to Hogan, even though he is bald.
Has been for a while.
Yeah, I know. It has been since he was 20, but okay. It's such a great episode, especially because it's not just about dark side of the ring. It's not just like about the darkness of it. It's just like a silly, nobody was really hurt except for some egos type of story. I love those episodes so much. Yeah, there's definitely some episodes in there like about Chris Candido, who was a wrestler that really didn't get a fair shake before he died tragically. But he was people really respected him, but like he died when he was like 33 or something. He really just didn't get a chance to shine because of that. Still, it's just one of the best docuseries ever made. And it doesn't matter if you're a wrestling fan or not, you're gonna leave that show going like, man, they've been through some crap on that, in that industry. Yeah. It's so great. Nice. Another docuseries I wrapped up because I started going back to the gym was Arnold. It's a mini series on Netflix.
My wife watched that. She liked that series.
Yeah, you do the things and the stuff and the
Arnold
and the stuff and the things like that. Yeah. It's so funny when he does do the stereotypical Arnold's like expressions where he's like, I didn't want to do the workout and the things like that and the stuff like that, and you're like, you're just doing an impression of yourself at this point.
Yeah. You are the character of yourself.
No, when he's doing his like in the Predator special features, he's talking about how he had an honorary like stogie boy that would just hold his humidifier box.
Stogie boy.
Yeah. So he'd be like, yeah, my stogie boy. Yeah, where is my stogie? And I'm like, you're just like being a cartoon character right now.
You're
like,
just
there's
cartoon
no
character.
way.
Sure.
There's
I feel
no
like he's definitely at the age now where he's able to reflect on some of those choices that he's made in his youth, especially, or even not in his youth, in the 90s. And he's able to like, I don't know. It was just a very insightful docuseries into his psyche now, because he's able to look back on like his affair and stuff like that and go,
sure,
damn, man, I lost my family. Like, that sucks.
He was also not nice to Lou Ferrigno.
Oh, I don't remember that. Was that in the Pumping Iron?
Maybe that wasn't in this one, but I feel like he's got history of Lou Ferrigno where he was like, but I could be wrong on maybe that was not in this documentary. Maybe it was something because I didn't watch it.
I got to be fully honest. I didn't pay attention 100% to it because I was at the gym when I was watching a lot of this.
I could have sworn there was a story. Maybe it's just a story that I've heard repeated somewhere, and it just happened to be as this documentary.
Well, no, I think you're right, but I think they put it in the Pumping Iron documentary where he was like a really young in the 70s bodybuilder, and Lou Ferrigno was as well. And
he like trash talked him with his family standing right there or something like that.
Wow. There was a part that they even included in the docuseries where when he was a bodybuilder, he and the guy who were like competing for the top prize, they were on stage together for the final pose down. And Arnold pretended like they were done. So the other guy was like, okay, so we're done here. And he just walked off. And Arnold's still up there posing. He's like, that guy just quit.
Wow.
It's so freaking funny and devious.
Jeez.
But that's the kind of person he was. He was willing to step on people to get to stardom eventually. But
there, so.
it is interesting like to hear him reflect on all this stuff. Like, I don't know, just like the general current state of things and how invested he is in American life, I guess, because it gave him so much. And he's never, people I think have called him a self-made man because of his background, where he came from, which is kind of like nothing. But he's like, no, and he's not willing to accept that. He's like, no, this is a team effort, blah blah blah. Like at least he's saying all the right things to make it feel like he's grown, which I would hope he has. He's like 70, but
Yeah, but Hogan says that stuff too, and it's hard to believe sometimes.
Yeah,
Hogan's hard to believe.
He also says he has no memorabilia of himself in his house, which is
okay.
Shut up. Yeah,
sure.
There's literally
yeah.
clips
All
from
right.
his reality show where he does, but okay.
All right, sure.
And the last thing I watched was a Painkiller. It's a Netflix miniseries about not fentanyl, the other one.
Oh, Matthew
OxyContin.
Broderick.
OxyContin, yeah. Yeah, it's about OxyContin and how misused it was and abused it was by Purdue Pharma. But this is honestly, the story is identical to Dope Sick, and Dope Sick just does it better. They have a better cast. Michael Keaton is in that one. Caitlin Deaver's in that one. There's a bunch of other heavy hitters. They've won awards for it, and this one is just a copy of that and kind of telling the story in the same way. There's still some good moments. Like I think Taylor Kitsch is in this, and he's got a great story, I think.
Gambit, yeah, everyone's favorite Gambit.
Everybody's favorite and only Gambit.
We all love that Gambit.
I didn't remember that until you said it just now. I was like,
that's because it was so good, you forgot about it.
It was so good it left my mind. It was too good to stay in the brain,
Yeah. It's not retainable. It's too good.
Retainable, right?
But it was, it's decent, but I can't recommend Dope Sick enough. Dope Sick was just a better version of the story, and it made the casting.
So Michael Keaton over Ferris Bueller, that's what you're saying.
Yes. So Michael Keaton plays
Weird.
a doctor who, at first, he was questioning OxyContin and how they were prescribing it, and then eventually he gets addicted to it. That's his journey through the show.
Okay.
And it's a very interesting story. And then the guy who plays Sackler, the guy who's in charge, I forget his first name, the Sackler guy who's in charge of Purdue Pharma, he's played by Michael Stuhlbarg, whatever, in Dope
You're
Sick.
making that up, I think. I don't know.
Michael Stuhlbarg, if you look him up, you'll be like, oh, I recognize it. I totally recognize that guy.
Stuhlbarg.
He's like a key player in like a lot of small roles. And he is so much better at the Sackler role than Matthew Broderick. Matthew Broderick just looks too harmless. And
Gotcha.
they might have maybe even humanized him a little too much in this
Matthew
show.
Broderick has a constant look of surprise on his face.
Matthew Broderick also killed like 3 people in Ireland, so we can't forget that. Yeah.
Car accident.
Yeah,
right?
a car accident. Yeah, he was drinking and driving and killed like a car full of people. Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't remember this because of mainstream media, probably. All right.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off 2 did not.
By the way, before we get some of
happy
Kyle's quick hits, you said Michael Keaton reminded me. A lot of times Facebook Watch will show me movie clips because it knows that I'll stop and watch them. Its algorithm has me pegged. It's like, oh, animals, little like classic
it's almost
movie
like
clips.
Data is real or something.
It's almost like they get me.
Right.
But anyway, they just showed a clip from The Founder where he goes to McDonald's for the first time, and it's just such a charming, wonderful scene where you get this picture of life back in was it the 50s maybe?
50s, yeah, 40s or 50s.
And like people are just walking, everyone's so friendly, and the idea of like getting your
Yeah.
burger, fries, and drink right away, and it made like McDonald's look so appealing. I was like, man, I want
sure.
I want a Big Mac. Yeah.
Dude, I saw that movie came out in 2017 or 18.
I love that movie, by the way.
And
It's
I saw it, and then I immediately got a Big Mac after. It just made me want McDonald's. Like
I know.
reverse psychology, I guess.
Anyway,
Last time I ate McDonald's, dude, things came out that
Yeah,
were
it's
not
not
the right
good.
colors. Things were
It's
not the
great
right
for you,
colors.
Yeah.
But I will say this: like most people, I believe some people truly think it tastes bad. Most of us, though, have to admit it tastes good. That's why it's popular.
It tastes good, yeah.
Engineered in a lab to
Yeah.
taste good.
Yeah,
exactly,
They did
exactly.
that. That's
It's not engineered in a lab to come out
Like
good.
the McDonald's
Yeah,
It's
breakfast
not real
hash
meat,
brown.
but I don't care once it hits my lips. I don't care.
The McDonald's breakfast hash brown is still one of my favorites.
Matrix.
So good.
Yeah,
It's not-
right,
yeah.
Ignorance is bliss. All right, Kyle, what about you? Anything you've been playing? or
Oh,
watching?
by the way, Kyle, before you go, did you play the Expanse? Because I brought that up.
Oh,
new episode?
No, I haven't played the new episode yet, but I
Gotcha.
plan to. So,
All right.
which is a good segue. I just haven't played a lot this week. It just, it's been a busy week for me. But I did sneak in a little Baldur's Gate 3. I'm about like an hour, 30 minutes into that. That game is so overwhelming in like the best ways. Like I get what it wants out of me, but also I know that it wants more out of me, if that makes any sense. So it's like I know that it wants me to do X, Y, and Z, but like what it's really looking for me to do is like A, B, and C. I just feel like there's always something I'm not doing or keeping in mind, and I think that's good. These are not criticisms at all. So it's like when I leave an area, I'm like, maybe I should go double back and like, I don't know, touch everything and make sure that I've expended all of my abilities to do something in this area. Because I mean, like, even running into the first character that you can quote unquote save, and I won't go into spoilers, like, you could just not save her, and just move on. So, or you can sit there and try and figure out what's going on here. But if you're a magic user and you have Arcana, like, you'll be able to figure out the puzzle a lot quicker because you have an understanding of like the weird and the beyond. Other people will just have to find a key. Other people will be able to, do. It's just it's so dense, mechanically dense, and I'm really enjoying it. And it's just it's on a different level in terms of like just the way that it's made. I mean, like every little thing, conversation, like the game like stops and it's like, no, now it's a cutscene and you're talking with someone and it's very animated, and the camera is moving all over the place, and it's just like it sucks you in, like it feels so good, and the voice acting is really good, and the production value is really, really good. It just looks like a very expensive, very well made game. I'm completely blown away by it, and I think everything that it's being said in the media is like totally spot on. So it's like it's just one of those games that people are just really enjoying, and I get it. You know what I mean? I totally get it. I just can't wait to spend a little more time with it. So. Outside of that, I've also been playing Pokemon Violet because I'm getting ready for the expansions. I'm getting all the Pokemans. There's really nothing to say about that other than, hey, there's Pokemans in this game.
There's a lot of Pokemans.
There's so many Pokemans. I was going to go after the legendaries, and it's like, hey, you have to find 36 pillars in every area. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
Oh. Well,
so I just won't get the legendaries in this game. Tough.
Sure.
I'm not going to do that. Sorry. So there is some padding in this game that I'm just not super into that doesn't exist in other Pokemon games. But I'm really excited for the new DLC. So maybe it's really good. Maybe it'll suck. I don't know. But it's got me back in. I'm wonder trading. I'm throwing out Pidgeys out into the ether, hoping I get something rare. I'm probably pissing off a lot
Eric's
of people
having an
along the
earthquake
way.
or something, apparently. I don't know what's going on over there.
Eric's
oh god! There's not much to say other than that. Other than it's Pokemon, and I'm still trying to play it. Hey, that game still runs at 4 frames per second too, guys.
Hey, that's great.
They didn't do it. They're just like, we're gonna put out a new expansion. I'm like, what about the game that's still running like garbage?
Pokemon slideshow.
So they're
like, we got your money. We're not gonna update that.
They're making the DLC, and they're not gonna fix that.
They're like, it would be like Cyberpunk still being broken. They're like, Phantom Liberty in a month though, right, guys? And I'm
right?
Well, we can't play the original game though. It's totally broken. They're like, don't worry about that.
Dude, it's so mind-blowing that they couldn't get that right, because like you finish the Wind Temple on Tears of the Kingdom and the clouds clear and the distance that you can see and just how pretty it is. I'm like, I don't understand.
When I play Tears of the Kingdom and I fall from the highest point of Sky area and then go directly into a crevasse, like into the subterranean
without
area,
loading.
And there's no loading. There's barely any skipping. There's barely any pop in. I'm like, why the heck is a windmill in Pokemon like
We've probably just dropped
second,
a couple of miles worth of distance. And
It's because that team clearly just is way in over their heads with like making.
Does Nintendo teams not talk to each other? Like I don't
know.
I don't know.
Like I don't like.
There's a Game Freak. Maybe they're.
I will never understand why Pokemon.
Can we get Monolith Soft over there? Like,
no joke. Yeah. Maybe that's the key ingredient, But I don't understand why that game is in the shape that it's in. But it's still a good time. You're still beating up monsters, and they're all cute and whatever. So great.
That's the thing, though. That's why. It's because they know that like people are.
They have our money, and that game sold like 50 million. I don't know.
You still get the little dopamine hit when the little Pokeball stops shaking and clicks.
Yep.
No, I was trying to get a legendary the other day, and I ended up finally grabbing it, and after like 30 great balls that I've thrown at it, or ultra balls, and it finally when it clicks, I'm just like, that feels really good, but I was about to throw my Switch across the room on that.
Dude, that was like, if we ever do an episode, maybe we should do this. If we would do an episode where it's like, what were some of the most magical like moments you've had in gaming? Like probably that would be at least on my honorable mention list, if not on my top list of like. The first time I successfully caught a Pokemon in Pokemon Red, I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Right.
This is I've never felt this.
I remember catching the 3 legendary birds in Red and Blue, the Articuno, Zapdos, and whatever the third one is. And Like it was just like magical because they were so hard.
Yes.
They were so hard to catch. And like you're saying, when that final like shake happens
Yeah.
and it locks, and you're like, ugh. Like 10-year-old
Yeah.
Kyle was running around his house screaming.
That first gen of Pokemon, finding the legendary fucking Mewtwo,
Yeah.
like in some hidden cave somewhere
Yeah.
at the very end of the game, being like, what is this cave I couldn't get into before because somebody was blocking it,
Yeah.
and then you go through it, and hopefully you didn't use your Master Ball yet, right? Because I mean, maybe you accidentally did. You're like, oh, this one's hard to catch.
I have accidentally thrown a Master Ball at a Pidgey before, and I was like, well, that's
Whoa.
not great. Yeah.
Whoops.
I was just scrolling through too fast and just wasn't paying attention. So I was like,
Those are
well,
made up words.
That's where you like
yeah,
quick
that's
take the
crazy.
batteries out. Take the batteries
The
out.
most
Like, no.
expensive like Pidgey catch ever in the history of Pokemon.
Sure.
Oops.
Yeah, so that game, it is what it
Oh.
is. It's a good time, and I'm excited for the expansion. I also just want to touch base on this feeling that I have right now of like prepping a game, because I'm doing the same as Cyberpunk, as I was talking last week. Like kind of getting back into a game and like feeling that like I'm prepping for something bigger and something new. I kind of really like that feeling. I don't know. There's something really interesting and special about it. Like, hey, new content's on the horizon. I'm getting into the old content. I'm getting refamiliarized with stuff. Maybe I'm cleaning up some old stuff that I didn't take care of. And then I'll be ready for the next thing. There's something really appealing about that to me right now, since I'm doing it for 2 games. And yeah, I don't know. Something about that.
I think
feels
people
really
did that with
good.
Horizon this year too, before Burning
Yeah,
Shores.
yeah. I remember having a similar thing where I got into Horizon, kind of tinkered around a little bit. So, yeah. I do like a little sabbatical from a game, and a year later it being like, hey, you ready to get back in? And it's like, well, not yet. Let me prep myself real quick. And that prep, I don't know, always feels good to me personally. So,
I'm with you.
watching wise, it's just not much. I'm enjoying some How To with John Wilson on HBO.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe the show, guys. Like he takes a very simple thing, like how do you clean your ears, and then somehow he ends on a 30-minute expedition about why people inherently will never get along with each other and how we're just born to annoy each other.
Sure.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know how he gets there. It's like magical the way that he plays himself. It's comedic. Like the whole show is comedic, but it's very like
especially his
avant-garde and
narrating, where
weird.
he's like, and then sometimes you
he,
walk down the street and
I'm talking kind of unsure, and
it's nice.
it's very natural.
Clearing
He's
his
clearing his
throat.
voice while he's
It's
talking. The narration is very
unprofessional.
weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really know how to pitch this show other than it's the weirdest thing on TV.
It's very
but, like,
similar to The Rehearsal. Like I think even Nathan Fielder produces this show. So
he does, yeah.
Yeah.
So it does have some of that Nathan for You weird comedy that's kind of all the rage right now. But I'm really enjoying that. That's really good. Everybody who's not watching Warrior right now, that's the best show about punching people in the face, period. Just period. That show is so good. The penultimate episode aired last night or the night before of this recording. And like the amount of like chess pieces narrative wise that they put on display to set up this season finale, which might be the last thing ever. We shouldn't even have this season. It's a special thing that we even have this. I don't know. It just feels really special and cool. And I don't know. You're not going to get like kicking and punching on a level on TV. This is the only thing that's kind of servicing that. So, which is a shame. Yeah, and that's really it. I'm still working my way through like the 35 Blu-rays and 4K movies I bought over the last kind of like month or so. So I'm just.
Is there
digesting
nobody
a lot of
around to watch those with you this week? That's too bad.
No,
Nope.
it's a lonely,
He's all alone.
lonely watch.
All right. I don't know why I asked you that. That probably made you feel bad.
It seemed really specific, but I appreciate you checking in. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's really it for me, though.
The Paloma keeps talking for me.
Yeah, I'm
One
trying to play
Drink
more.
Tim
I'm trying
is
to watch
just-
more. It was just a busy week for me. So.
You can't stop him, dude. He's just on a roll.
One drink, Tim. Gosh. All right. And then Derek, what
He
about
starts
you?
dropping F-bombs like he's like,
Yeah,
listen
I
here.
know. One drink, Tim just goes off the edge.
That's actually me. I rarely drink when I
What's going
drink.
on with you, Derek? What's happening right now?
Dude,
I'm literally having sex right now while we're.
Okay. All right.
Oh, all right. Well, I hope
the
Let
bit
him
of
know
the night
we're
right
the
there,
people
yeah.
that get you there. That's great.
I hope you're being safe. I hope you're being safe and consent and all that.
I did
No.
think for a
No,
minute
just
you
gonna
might
do
be
this real
playing
quick.
Atlas Fallen, but
Jeff is also having sex.
all right. So Derek, what have you been playing this week or watching that you want to highlight before we go into some headlines?
More Baldur's Gate 3. I'm like, Steam says I'm 37 and a half hours in. That's including obviously my time in early access. I think I'm about 20 hours in my actual official playthrough.
Wow.
Because I have to like restart stuff, kind of like what Kyle was saying. There's a lot of times in this game, and it gets even worse than what he's experiencing now, where you're just kind of like for instance, I'll get like an alert like, hey, if you're gonna go here, you might want to clean stuff up, and I'm like, wait, I thought I was
what do they call those? There's moments in the game, they're not chapters ending, but like a mass amount of time is about to pass or something, and it just clears off everything you haven't finished yet in that area, right? Is that right?
Correct. So it'll warn me,
so
and I'm like,
yes.
And I'm like, wait, I thought I was actually heading towards a mission, because sometimes the map can be a little deceiving. I won't go into why, because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. I want you to go in blind. So anyways, I've had to restart checkpoints so many times because I'm like, damn it, I thought I was going towards that mission and I was actually advancing the story. But tonight, like, I didn't get to play a lot during the work week. I've been really busy, but tonight I actually was able to, or today, I was able to put in some time. And every time, like, to me, it's not a game that I feel like I want to play unless I know I can commit hours. Because anytime I try to just play during work and I get distracted, it's unsatisfying. Because once I start the game, I don't want to start playing it. Or stop playing it. Because sometimes I'm like, I'm not really in the mood to play. But once I start it, I'm like, yep, I'm now automatically in the mood to play.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because it's one of those games for me that continues to like challenge me as far as my decision making on how, like, for instance, I'll use an example. Tonight I ended on a mission where I talked to these like mushroom heads, right? And you don't know going into the conversation, should you kill them or are they friendly? You really don't know. So I felt it out because I could have immediately killed them. Kind of find out that they seem like they're decent mushrooms, whatever they are. And they asked me to do something. They're like, hey, do this mission for us. Take care of these people. They're actually evil. And I had actually talked to these people. Sorry, I'm going to adjust my camera again, so if it drops, it drops.
It just looks like you're riding in a car with how much it's shaking.
I know. It's the laptop, and
On horseback.
it's like burning my thighs, so then I have to adjust it so then the camera falls everywhere.
It's fine.
Well,
I assume you're in an Uber, which makes this really funny as you talk, but keep going.
I like the having sex story better.
He's in an Uber with his blanket on and nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
That's why it's so funny talking to us about.
Sir, can you put
Hold
on
a
a
2-star review.
This guy's like, sir,
Sir,
you've been
can
here
you
for 20
pull
minutes. Can
over
you get
for
out
a
of the car, please?
So anyway, so I do this mission for him. I come back. I kill these guys that I had actually met earlier that asked me to do something, but I find out they're bad, so I kill them. And then I come back and they're like, well, hey, you only killed them. You didn't cut off the source. There's somebody else we want you to kill. So then I find out, I go into this whole nother area, and I find out this guy they want me to kill is, not only is he super powerful, but he's super important, and everybody in that area is either aligned with him, and you can have certain conversations to actually get those people on your side. So when you fight him, you can have them kind of like betray him, or you can try to fight everybody, and that's pretty much insta-death. Well, I ended up accidentally fighting everybody and dying, so I got pissed off of that. And then I was like, look, I'm kind of low health. I need to go to the camp and rest. So I go and do a long rest. I come back I leave the camp, and it's like, the guy that you were supposed to kill, he's dead. I'm like, what? He died of poison. He's dead. So all you have to do is go cut his head off. And I'm like, oh, cool. The game killed him for me. Perfect. So I just take his head, and I'm now going to take him back to the mushroom, and I'm going to receive my reward.
Awesome.
So we have no clue how that happened. It was just like, oh, he died from
I
poison.
know how it happened, but I'm not going to tell
okay.
you guys.
Gotcha.
But like the point is there's like multiple outcomes, and
But
you
like, yeah,
dictate all of it.
even at the beginning, like everything matters. Like I came across something like where like I don't want to go too much into detail, but like a brain is talking to me, And it's like, well, do you want to like help this brain like get out of the situation that it's stuck in, or do you think that it's evil and want to kill it? And like, there's so many different choices that you can do to this thing, whether or not you believe it or trust it. And like, this game just fills me with doubt constantly. I'm just like, I don't know if that was the right thing to do. And I like that. I feel like the crippling nature of choice in this game and consequence, like it feels very good.
It tries to mess with you because like I actually went back to the first area of the game, not the first area meaning the ship, but the first like actual world area. And I was like, oh, I didn't explore this area, so let me just go and explore it. Turns out it's another entrance to the area I was already in, because I think I said it on last week's show, there's like 4 entrances. So this is another entrance. Well, on the way to that area I hadn't explored, there's these 2 brothers yelling at this old woman. And she's like, can you help me? They're being so mean. I'm like, I played games long enough. You're a bitch. So I actually
Karen, and kept walking.
No, I actually sided with them, and I was like, you need to tell them where their sister is right now. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I get really angry at her, and she immediately changes her tone, and she's like, you piece of like gets real evil, and she's like, you're gonna regret that decision. Sure enough, she's a witch or a hag. So
it already sounds like a better story and characters than Atlas Fallen.
Oh, absolutely.
That's just a little optional.
But I ended up
side
like I was just gonna explore the area, but I ended up in a mission to kill this hag because she's a boss fight and rescue somebody, and that took a couple hours to do, like to explore everything, to beat her.
That's what's interesting is when you pass a point of no return for an area where it's like, hey, you might want to clean up all this stuff, and it progresses time-wise in that area. Like you said, when you double back, like there's new stuff to do in that area. Like there's new missions you haven't seen, or people, NPCs who you may have dealt with before are in a new place, or some kind of development has happened where like you can check back in with them to see like maybe one of your decisions, how that came to fruition. I don't know how someone makes a game like this, and it's just like casual. It's like, yeah, we just put it out. Here it is.
This game seems like the best, like realized, like digital version of D&D. Like, if for someone like me, like I've never played D&D, and I love the idea of it because I love RPGs. But like playing tabletop D&D just doesn't interest me. I don't know, it just doesn't. But something like this, I'm like, I so want to play
this. Think about everything that you love about like Mass Effect and Dragon Age.
Yeah.
And you're taking it to an extreme level of
it feels like Dragon Age, like they actually made a true sequel to Dragon Age Origins. Like that's what this game is.
Yeah,
like, it's so involved and
like
so.
Dragon Age Origins had like a lot of like plot twists and betrayal, and
but
stuff
it also
like
had
that.
a lot of like separations of narrative where it's like a lot of branching paths and stuff like
and
that.
And your actions had impact, but not at the level that I'm talking about here, where you're like literally, like Kyle even said, the first 2 minutes of the game, you can let this person die, or they can be on your in your squad. Well, here's the thing, you know, and this isn't really a major spoiler because I'm not going to talk about who she is as a character, but like just in my playthrough today, she stopped me and she's like, "Hey, I just want to tell you, I'm really grateful for you saving me on the ship. Thank you so much for doing that. You didn't have to do that." And then it goes on from there. So like she's letting you know, like, your choices impacted her because she's not a very trusting person. And then she goes on to tell me, I'm starting to trust you more as I watch how you behave and how you treat me and how you stood up for me when this other character tried to disrespect me. So they're remembering everything.
Yeah. And then a scene later, you crit fail and cut her head off. And oops.
And then if you're making her happy, guess what you're doing also? Upsetting somebody else in your party. So you have to realize
there's a lot of like race style, like, you know, racially charged. Like this race isn't like that race, or this type of people don't like that type, you know. So it's like aligning with certain people, have instant consequences.
They're all like free thinkers, so it's not like you can't go into it and go, okay, I like this character. I already know where they're aligned with everything. So if I want to make love to them, all I have to... Why are you shaking, you piece of shit? God.
You
Simulating
should
the lovemaking.
It's
You
shaking
shouldn't talk
a
to your
lot.
date that way. You shouldn't talk to your date that way.
I mean,
Bob up and down a little less,
it
please.
looks like you're in a very active earthquake.
So annoying because it wasn't doing this earlier. So obviously when it fell off, it got loose. That's what she said. But like, my point is,
Ew,
that,
why would
like,
she say that?
I don't know. I'm just confused.
Keep going.
Ah,
Keep going.
I'm here for it.
Scared.
So she,
Is that a joke about
Yeah.
poop? I don't.
Hey.
no.
Is that a scat joke? Are we scat joking now?
Scat.
So, like,
'Cause I've got some material.
My point is, you
Cheers.
can't like,
Scatting is when. Okay.
you can't like just go, well, I know how this person thinks. I want to sleep with them. I'm just gonna do everything. They're all free thinkers. They all like don't do the exact same thing. There isn't a character who's like always good, and a character who's always bad, and a character who's always in between.
They have
Like,
nuance, basically.
Yeah, they're real
they
characters. that
have
are actually
nuance.
thought
They're
out,
free
yeah.
thinkers,
Yeah.
and I think Larian
That's
came out
unique.
and said they're like, we don't want you to play this game where you're always being good and you're always being bad, or you're trying to find, like, we want you to
Paragon
just be
versus
you.
Renegade or whatever.
Yeah, we want you
Yeah.
to be you and understand that there's going to be consequences sometimes for being you, and then sometimes things are going to pay off. We just want you to make natural decisions. So
Yeah.
that has been amazing. The combat has been fun and intriguing, especially since this past couple of years I've really gotten more into the strategy or CRPGs. This one is, there's just so much you can do in it. Combat.
I walked up to a guy and
story.
shoved him out of the ship. Like there was like a hole in the ship, and I
Yeah.
like just pushed him, and he just like fell out and died immediately. And I'm like, great.
Yeah, I
That was
actually
super
had
great.
that happen
Great.
where I was in the area I'm in where they didn't know I was gonna fight them. They were just like, "Hey, why are you on our ship? Why are you on so and so ship?" And I don't even answer them. They just give me an option: roll to push guy off boat. And I'm like, "Yeah, I think I'll just roll to push this guy
Yeah.
off the boat." Rolled it, and shoved him off. He dies, and then all the other guys are like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And they just start fighting.
And like
And
you
then-
know, like there's really cool things as decisions you make, just like in D&D. Like if you have not only, I don't want to talk about inspiration, but like if you have maybe knowledge. So if you're talking to someone, your knowledge kind of like it benefits the dice roll that you're gonna do, or it might give you
Yeah.
more dialogue options and stuff like that. It's just if
Yeah,
you
your
play
character
to
definitely
your
impacts it.
class, like it rewards you in some really interesting ways, and or play to
Yeah.
your character, not specifically your class. But yeah, it's I can't believe a
fact-
game like this exists. I gotta be
Ugh,
honest.
you guys
I
suck.
thought this was pretty
This is
cool,
sitting in
like-
my cart on Steam now. I hate you guys so much. I don't need
Like-
another game.
Yeah, it's
don't
not.
need- I
it's
don't
not
need
great.
it.
This game is way
Do
too big
it.
to be
Do
coming out this year.
Steam Deck verified.
Well, here's the thing. It's
I
not
know,
like you
it's
just
so-
like mainline
it's a
it.
And it
and
plays
make
well
your
on the deck. That's all I'm
decisions.
playing
You
it
can
on right now.
actually, You can actually beat this game in 30 hours. I'm not trying to do that. I've clearly made this.
That's another appeal. I'm glad you said that. I actually read that recently. That hey, 30, 35, even if you do some side stuff, less than 50 hours. And I'm here assuming like this is 80 to 90 hours minimum based on how
No,
it's
this
being
is
talked
just
about.
me trying to see everything that I can see.
I think if you play like The Witcher, yeah, it could be like a 180-hour experience or something like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But
All right.
the last thing I'll end on that I thought was pretty cool, because I am playing on easy, so the combat isn't technically hard. The only time I die is like for instance, when I was like, hey, I'm gonna kill this guy, and I just realized there's like 30 guys surrounding me and they're on his side. I don't care how easy the game is not gonna let you survive. But there was using the two ships as an example. So I'm on this guy's boat that I'm not supposed to be on. I shove the dude off who confronts me about it. And then the other guys are on the other ship and they're attacking me. So I logically think, okay, most of my characters are melee. I'm going to jump from my ship to their ship and start fighting them. That's totally fine. So I actually jump my character over. I'm not paying attention. I'm on the edge. The game just shoves me off. And I go, wait. I literally did this. I go, wait, is my character dead? Did I just see my character fall off and they're just insta-dead? So I'm like, fudge. I'm like carrying on fighting for a while, and I just realized my character died. And I was like, well, screw this. I got to start over. I can't play the game with my character dead. Because once you're dead, you're dead. There's no bringing these people back. That's the other thing. Like the origin characters, like if they die, they're dead. So it's kind of like Fire Emblem and stuff like that when you play on the more difficulty settings that it's permadeath. Same thing here. So if you want to keep characters alive, that's why there's a lot of people playing the game differently. There's people that condemn you for the people like me. I'm going to tell you it's me who save the game before I make a big decision. I'm like, I'm going to try to get into that door in front of these people. But before I do that, I'm gonna save it. Okay, I tried to get in that door. They're mad at me. Okay, I don't want them to be mad at me. Let me reload. There's people that are like, that's stupid. That's not how you should
I've been
play.
doing that since I played
but...
Space Quest back on the PC, like when I was a little kid. Yeah. So I've been doing that for a long time.
Do what you want to do.
Do it.
I like to save in Skyrim. If like a townsperson talks crap to me, I like to save. And then I'll just like kill them, just so I can reload because I know you get a one from that. Yeah,
it's like a little fantasy moment, like you just dreamed about it.
What did you say to me? Yeah, I just burned him alive.
It's like Dumb and Dumber where he pulls the heart out and then he wakes up from the dream. Yeah.
That was my main game, and the only other thing I did besides Atlas Fallen was I did play the Expanse episode 2. It only took me an hour. I actually felt like it was shorter than the first episode, so it probably took me less than an hour.
Nice.
I would agree with Jeff. I liked it. I didn't love it. There definitely was not any decisions that I felt like, crap, what do I do? The funny thing is because I listened to Kyle last week, and then I was watching Fighting Cowboy, who did the same thing as Kyle and killed a certain character. I, for some reason, thought I did. So I was playing my second episode thinking this person's dead, and then I go to like a situation. It says call this person. I'm like, what do you mean call this person? Isn't he dead? Am I playing in the past? And then I call him, and I'm like, oh, I didn't kill him. I totally forgot. I thought I was playing other people's games.
We both didn't feel like that.
Yeah. Totally forgot.
He sucks. In the second episode,
now
he doesn't make.
I would have killed him.
In the second episode, he kept saying
he's literally
whatever I'm talking about. He's dead in my game. I don't care.
He's literally no help. He won't help you. He acts entitled like he's special. I'm like, dude, I should have just freaking killed you.
Yeah,
exactly.
But if Telltale does what they do sometimes, like it could take a few episodes, but that person could end up being pivotal somehow.
I think they'll make him pay off in some way. Either they'll give me another
or their
chance
absence
to kill him.
Makes a difference later. You know, that kind of. All right, let's go through a few headlines here. A couple of these are pretty interesting. I want to get your guys' thoughts on them. Some quick ones. 2 classic Pokemon spin-off games are now on Switch Online. So if you want to try, I actually never played this. It was a Game Boy game called Pokemon Trading Card Game. You literally play the Pokemon card game on Game Boy. So I never played that. But anyway, that's on Switch now. And then Pokemon Stadium 2 is on N64's Switch Online service.
Where are the classic Pokemon games, Tim?
Oh, they're not. They're just gonna remake those and resell them. They're never gonna.
Sure.
Because they're on 3DS now, right? Aren't Red and Blue? Aren't there like remade versions on?
Well, there was the was it Pokemon Eevee and Pikachu ones?
But it was
it's like a remake of the first gen.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What was that?
I have that. I have left.
Did you think one of the Pokemon was behind you, Tim? Is that why you were checking?
My cat's out my window because
the
garage is shut.
Like, oh, is that Pikachu?
And so my office window's open and she's just sitting outside my house. She's literally just staring at me. She didn't like meow or she's just staring at me like, how dare you lock me out?
City.
I'll let you in later. We do have some really mean cats in our neighborhood, total aside. And like I think they're like these male cats and ours are just 2 little I mean they're both spayed, so like they can't I don't think the scent of them being females drawing these male cats in, but there's just something about the territory. I don't know what it is. At nighttime, these male cats come in and they're just mean. They get into fights, and our 2 little cats are always hiding up trees and underneath stuff.
Little dudes.
I feel bad for them, so I might go let them in here in a minute. But all right, I actually will go let them in. While Dan, talk us through this Final Fantasy 16 sales expectations piece.
Oh my God!
I know you've got the notes, so you can see it.
I wasn't oh my godding Dan speaking up about it. I'm so tired of these Square executives setting such a high bar for their games. It's so absurd.
But it makes sense for you to kind of walk us through. I mean, just give us your thoughts on it. Tell us what the story here is. I'll be right back.
And it's like I didn't even really personally dive into it because the second I saw it, I was like, okay, and 3, 2, 1, everyone on the internet is gonna start arguing. So, and you know, obviously that's what they do. So
it's inevitable. for every headline, really.
It's inevitable. But yeah, Final Fantasy 16 didn't meet quote high end. I don't even know it, like high end sales expectations. So now we're just throwing in high end in there. Bloomberg also claims that one of the reasons for Square Enix's underwhelming financials is the launch of Final Fantasy 16. The publication cites 3 separate sources who attended Square Enix's post-earnings call, all of whom claimed President Takashi Kiryu?
We don't care.
Kiryu
We don't care.
said the games. I do care.
I don't care.
Start calling your name. Start calling you
Call me
Direk
Tugui.
Tuge or something.
Tugui.
I thought we already established that his name was Derek Tigwe.
There we go. That's what it is. So he said the game's initial sales, in Bloomberg's words, did not meet high end of the company's expectations. So suddenly we're shifting the expectations to high end. I didn't say that beforehand, but now suddenly.
Yeah, you didn't see that before in week 1 where it was like, oh, this is the highest selling PS5 exclusive I've ever seen in my life. And, they're celebrating it with Sony, but okay.
So yeah, Final Fantasy 16 reportedly sold 3 million copies in the first week, which is slightly behind the 3.5 by 7 remake, and not close to the 15 sales of over 5 million in the first 24 hours. Now over 10 million total. Now that being said,
Jim Ryan's fault. Go ahead.
50, yes, always Jim Ryan's fault. But
if we're on Xbox, they would have sold maybe a few thousand more. I'm just saying.
I don't even think you can. In my opinion, you can't fairly compare the 15 to that, because like 15 was a whole thing of like a decade of like build up of this game being versus 13.
That, it's multiple consoles.
That too, but I'm saying like it was a large, like when that.
You're saying the build up was different to this. Right?
Yeah, that initial build up and that trailers of Versus 13, that's like fair. Looking dark, and everyone was like so hyped about it.
The hype was higher. There was a movie, like there was a different marketing machine for this thing.
There was all that extra stuff, which then at the end of the day, once all of that was said and done, like people were kind of like, yeah, let's never do that again. Like,
what I'm saying is, you're talking about 3 million versus 5 million. Xbox would have given you at least 1 or 2 more million. I know it would have. It would have,
especially in the States, especially in the States.
So I was trying to look into this. There's not a whole lot of hard data on like how many copies of, for example, 15 or 7 remake, on PC. Like it's hard to get good hard data on that. They'll just tell you overall sales. But most predictions are that for 15, about 20% of the sales were on Xbox when it was all said and done.
That's kind of a lot,
give or take.
Yeah.
So if you take that, this could have matched the Final Fantasy VII remake launch of 3.5 million, maybe. Like it could have been in that ballpark at least. So Jeff's right. It probably wouldn't have moved the needle too much if it stayed at that exact percentage. I actually think it would have been higher, just because of the fact that I think that you've got a much different audience on Xbox now than you had in 2015. Was it 2015? 2015?
Different and much
16?
bigger.
I thought it was 15, but you could be right. It could be 16.
Yeah, it was 7 or 8 years ago. The audience on Xbox is way different, and Derek's right, way bigger. And so I feel like if this game had been multi-console, it would have done better than the 20%.
It didn't even come to PC though either, right?
Didn't even come to PC, which I think.
So that could have been helped
Right.
somehow. I mean.
And also comparing remake to this game, like remake was this whole anticipation of remaking this beloved game, right? Like so whatever.
Yeah, I would have never thought 16 would hit remake.
Yeah, like and leading up to 16, like hype was building and people were excited, but then there was the dialogue or the people online having the discussions about the stuff about people of color and all that stuff. Like so there was like that whole thing added on.
Not my Final Fantasy, the whole
my Final Fantasy, the combat system.
Yeah. So I actually have a different take. I don't think the Xbox would have boosted it to 5 million. I think it might have gotten up to 3.5, maybe 4 at the very, very most.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing was that it was rated M. And so you lose a huge chunk of your. This is
my rated R movie. Like you lose box office numbers.
I think it's being incredibly violent and having a lot of sexual content and nudity. Like for example, if I weren't into gaming, but my sons were or my kids were, and they wanted this game, I would have said no to this one, and I would have said yes to 15. Just if I'm not an educated gamer, I'm just going to look at the ESRB whatever rating. and this is
Peggy-
mature.
Peggy
Well, why
18.
is it mature? Let's see the reasons. Oh, it's all the things that can make a game mature. Got it. Like,
Titties, shit,
tons-
piss,
all the
fucker. Sorry.
Editor, bleep those. Editor, bleep
Keep going.
those.
Keep going. Keep
Bleep
going.
those.
Keep going.
So I could be wrong. Maybe that was only enough to move the needle on a couple
I think
thousand.
it's several things. That's probably absolutely one of them too. I think it was several things. I don't think it's just one particular thing. So
It's a little bit of all of it. Like if it had
Yeah.
an Xbox, if they had somehow found a way to make it teen, although I understand a lot of people. They're like, the reason I love it is because it's mature. Totally fair take. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying.
I don't know if it's in the
sales-wise, I think
articles or if it was discussed in the meeting, but here's the thing: these quotes get taken out of context because, okay, so if it's a difference between, let's just compare Final Fantasy VII Remake. Let's not compare 15. Those are not. It's not apples to apples. You're talking about $500,000, right? That's. You also are getting like a deal with PlayStation. Like they're paying less to make the game. And that's the stuff that gets taken out of context. Whereas if they're releasing this game on Xbox, PC even later and stuff like that, Microsoft more than likely, unless they have like an agreement to like introduce the game at a show or something like that, or even PlayStation, they're not going to pay for any of that stuff. The only time they pay for any of that stuff is if it's an exclusive to their console. Then they'll take care of a lot of the marketing, a lot of the stuff that costs a lot of money. So even if they make, like, if they sell less games, because I see a lot of people comment all the time in the big game groups, like, well, if you want to sell more games, you got to put them on more consoles. Yeah, obviously, duh. But why do they make these deals? Because they're more obsessed in the beginning with the return on investment than they are about just numbers.
When
if I
Sony
tell you
comes to you and goes, "I'll give you X million," to just put it on our thing.
They
like,
also,
like Tim and I were talking about this in the chat, where it's like,
right.
we don't know what that number is. Like they could have spent.
How many game sales does that count?
Millions of units worth of money.
Exactly.
On this, and we just don't know that figure. So it's like.
And
all
they
day
like the
you could say,
helping
hey,
hand.
it didn't sell really well, but I bet you that game recouped
But
its
if the
money
return on investment is higher because your cost up front was lower, then it's always going to be worth it to do those deals. Same thing with Game Pass and PlayStation Plus Premium or whatever. Why do those little games, most of the time little game companies, put their games on there? Because it's like, well, hey, it's free advertisement. And that's the most important, like, usually the most expensive part is advertising your stuff and getting people to care about you. So I definitely think
it's all business.
This is
I understand
being dramatized. I think 3 million is great. I think if they would have said, still, I would have been impressed with 1 million. But if they did 1 million in a week, I still would have been like, for a mature title, Final Fantasy that doesn't feel like Final Fantasy for a lot of Final Fantasy
Not
fans.
a remake. Yeah.
This is a good launch.
And
3
again,
million
this is
is a good
still
launch.
sources saying, right, that this was supposedly said.
It's Bloomberg, which has been wrong before, especially about Sony specific.
Jason
stuff.
Schreier wrong? I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know, and I also get a suspect when it's like translations. They're never perfect. You know what I mean?
That's true. Also true. Yes.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it could have been something as simple as this word of like, it didn't meet the high end of company expectations. There could be something in there where it's like, well, the intention there was to say it wasn't our best selling first week ever for the franchise or something. Like it could have been something
it
more
didn't break records,
which means it actually hit expectations. It just didn't go above and beyond them. And then these guys
like if your
writing the
expectations
article
are,
take it
hey,
out
we
of
want to sell
context.
if it's like, hey, we want to sell between 3 and 5 million in week 1, and you sold 3, then that statement's accurate. It didn't meet the high end expectations of up to 5 million, or you know what I mean? Like it could be, it could be that
always
simple.
manipulating bull crap.
Could be that simple.
Got to get the clicks. Got to get the interaction.
Yeah, Bloomberg is kind of like the more dressed up Kotaku these days in some of their articles. I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Michael, whatever, Schreier, whatever.
Jason Schreier, yeah.
Jason.
Michael Schreier.
He's got better sources
Michael
and stuff, but he's
Schreier.
definitely eager to. He loves to jump on. If there's any inkling of a controversy on a story that he knows is going to get comments
where he was thought of
and
as
crap.
the last real gaming journalist in the industry, and now he's like a clown to everybody. It's so funny to me.
Dude, if you say the word crunch, he'll punch everyone around him to run to get there first to talk about it. Like you just say crunch.
He creates the crunch a lot of times. You worked 40 hours in 1 minute, right? That's
All right, so I
crunch.
think we all agree that most of the noise around that is unnecessary, and the game is great. The sales sound like those are very, very good, and
Game of the year.
it's
Game
kind
of
of
the
a
year.
non-story.
Game of the year.
But here's an actual story, and I
Yes.
think we can
Yes.
openly make fun of and mock this. Red Dead Redemption is coming to Switch and PS4 this week on August 17th.
But for how
Wait,
much?
let's get the details. All right.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
you should be excited, right? You can get a portable version of Red Dead Redemption.
Please be excited.
This is exciting. No PC, which is a bummer, but all right. But hey, at least I can get it for cheap on these platforms. No,
Sure.
$50 for Red Dead Redemption. But don't worry, there's
We need more money.
Don't worry, there's no improvements made to the game whatsoever. It looks exactly the same as it did. What is it, 11
well, I'm
years
sold.
ago?
Sold. Totally gonna buy it. Day one.
Why? I don't even get it. Like, I'm actually baffled by that.
Okay.
Okay,
only-
does
the
this
only
game
caveat is
actually
this.
run at 4K 60 FPS
On
on
Xbox?
anything? On PlayStation or this version of
on
this
Xbox it does, doesn't it?
No. That's what I was going to get to. But is this version?
No.
Is it 4K?
PlayStation.
The
Because you can
PS4
buy it on Xbox for $30, and it is 4K and 60 frames per second.
Does that come with the Undead DLC too?
It does not, but you can buy that for an additional whatever. It does. It's still
Okay.
under the price of the 50, and
And
it's
if you
actual
already
4K
own
and
Red
60
Dead-
frames per second. Like,
If you already
It was a
own
free
it, then
upgrade.
you just upgrade it over there.
yeah.
I got the
So
free
this-
upgrade like a
This
couple
does
years ago.
include one of my personal favorite DLCs ever, and that's the Undead
great.
Nightmare DLC. I love this DLC. It has a fun little campaign. It's a great setting of like
It's a Mount Rushmore DLC for sure.
yeah, this open world cowboy setting where you're shooting zombies, and it's awesome.
I never played it.
Super fun.
It was
So
fun.
And
good.
it's very like like they go from, because they tell really deep, hard-hitting, real stories, raw stories in these Red Dead games. But then the DLC was like, hey, let's go a little more B movie and just have fun with it. And I loved it. I loved it for that.
Remember when
Um,
Rockstar made story DLC? That was fun. Those were good times.
That was a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Before they
Good
had
times,
their online
yeah.
games as service as their primary company focus.
Yeah.
It's sad. I think this is a bad move, and their CEO coming out and publicly making statements in response to questions about how this is, what did he call it? Did he say commercially accurate? Is that the word?
Commercially accurate.
Or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. Market accurate? I forget. It was some term
Basically,
like
we're all dumb and he's right. So
Yeah, and like that's such a weird statement too, because like commercially accurate or whatever, however he worded it, it could have
Yeah.
been taken as like, yes, it is accurate. This is the commercial price for it, or also it
Oh,
is
yeah.
commercially accurate after we did. I like that. It could
Yeah.
be so. It's such an HR, not
It's
It
so
was
HR, but
commercially
PR type of bullshit,
accurate 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's just so crazy to me.
Yeah, I think it's bad. Now, if this had been like upgraded version, right? Of course, then, and especially if it was like, hey, this is a remaster, not a full remake, but a remaster, and it's coming to modern consoles and to PC, I'd probably be like, hey, I wish it was cheaper, but 50 kind of makes sense. They're putting some
Yeah,
time and effort into
exactly.
this thing.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is. And if they were doing a full-on, let's call it remake, or like a Metroid Prime style remaster that feels like a new game because it's so good looking and so improved. If they did that and it was on PC and modern consoles, they could probably charge $60, and I'd be like, yeah, makes sense, man. This is like a modern version of this game. Like, but
I
that's
will
not
say
what
they
this
did
is.
something similar with LA Noire recently, where they like released it at $50 and did nothing to it at all, and then kind of like, hey, everybody should buy this game, and no one kind of batted an eye because no one really cares about that game, even though it's really great.
But yeah,
but the
this one
second
has
someone did it for a beloved game like Red Dead Redemption,
people are clamoring
like,
for this. Yeah,
people
Sure.
went crazy, So. We let Rockstar get away with this a couple times before, you know what I mean?
It'll be
And
interesting
so when
to
when
see
they
if
say, hey, it's
they
commercially
do this to them.
viable, they're just saying, hey, you guys let us do this before. I don't know why y'all make such a big
dude,
deal about it now.
I feel like they don't have a team on this.
Yeah.
So I
it
think
was
like
outsourced, right? This wasn't in house.
I think it's like the trilogy, a GTA trilogy, where it's like outsourced.
yeah,
or
I just don't
something,
even think this
Yeah.
is going to cost them much, and so whatever return they get is going to be like whatever. So I don't think there's any lesson for them to learn here.
Yeah,
So
if they could trick
They
people into
literally
spending
just-
$50 for it, great. You're right.
Yeah, they just literally did copy and paste.
this is the best example of copy. and
Drag
paste.
and drop, file
Oh,
save
boy.
as switch.
yeah.
All right. Well, if you guys have Street Fighter 6, you can get some Ninja Turtles content right now. It came out this past week. I think it's just like it's not like characters or anything. It's like costumes, accessories,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
If you want to play
speaking-
with the turtles, you
hold
play
on.
with them on Injustice too.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't
Street
know that.
Fighter.
Full on playing on them.
I didn't know they were in that. Okay.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, I guess in my opinion, I think this is cooler because I think Street Fighter's cooler. But Only issue is here though is how much do they cost him?
Isn't it free?
What,
I think
the
it's
Ninja
a free
Turtles?
update because it's stupid.
I think it's just a free update on Street Fighter 6, isn't it? No.
Oh no, the outfits for each of the turtles, each turtle individually, is $15.
All right, never mind.
There's no way
Now
that's
it's Call
true.
of Duty. It's Call
There's
of Duty.
no
Okay,
way.
I got you. You're buying operator skins. That's cool. Great
you
job. Good job,
serious?
Capcom.
Yep. There were literally headlines that were like, so if you want to buy all 4 Ninja Turtles, it costs the same as the game.
So no, Injustice 2 is better than Street Fighter.
That's unbelievably
I mean,
stupid.
I guess in value-wise, yes, but
Wow. All right. Well, never mind. Don't
especially
don't
since
go
you can
support
buy that game
That's
for
horrible.
like $5 with all.
You guys,
those
there's a
characters.
pizza eating emote though, and I think y'all need to be a little more positive. So
You know, Capcom's on a good roll, but they're starting to take a couple weird steps. They need to get it back together here. Come on.
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like well, we gave you Resident Evil 4. There was no microtransactions made.
Sure.
I think they're
Beautiful
actually-
game. One of the best of the year.
wonderful game. They're like, we can do whatever the hell we want with Street Fighter. Who cares?
Man. All right. Well, the Plucky Squire delayed till next year. That is one that I know a bunch of us are looking forward
Why,
to
Kyle?
playing.
Yes.
Um,
Gosh,
the good,
dang it.
the bad news is like, hey, we don't get to play this super creative looking, unique game. Somehow squeezing it into our schedules this fall. But the silver lining is not only, hey, maybe we'll play this when we actually have time, but also make the game really good. Like finish the game, make it excellent. We've learned that with games like Baldur's Gate 3. Take your time and make it excellent because then everyone's going to love it when it does arrive. So go for it. But don't be like the little devil inside that never comes out ever after.
Tim,
I think
why
that game
why'd
just
you
doesn't exist anymore. I don't even know if that's.
Y'all
It's-
keep on bringing it up, and I don't know what y'all are
It's
talking
on
about,
the
so.
Skull and Bones ship. That's all we know. It's there.
Oh, don't you dare even compare the two.
Oh, man.
Don't
Yeah,
you
it
even
and
dare.
Silk Song are all on
Don't
the
you put that
Skull
on
and
me.
Bone ship,
And Silk
yeah.
Song. That's right. That's right.
It's real to me, damn it.
Don't you put that in the world? Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 has been confirmed. It's releasing in November this year, a little bit later than it has in recent years, I think. November 10th. So yeah.
Is this
Yeah, that
We're gonna kill Makarov. Get hyped, everybody. Come on. Hey,
Nice.
guys, come on. Get hyped for Call of Duty. We only get this once a year. Come on.
We'll probably get
The-
some kind of big Gamescom
Only-
moment for it, right? Opening Night Live, I assume, will have
I
a big
think
trailer.
it'll be at
yeah.
Gamescom in a big
In-
way.
in-depth
I
thing.
think they'll have their own thing before the Gamescom. It will be kind of like a showcase, and then they'll be like all over Gamescom.
And then Jeff will be
Gameplay
able
reveal.
to
They did that last year.
Yeah.
So like I think FTC documents from like the Xbox acquisition of Activision Blizzard leaked this, and it was like so painfully obviously real that it was like, okay, well, it's going to come out then November 10th. So that kind of took the steam out of
It did.
the announcement a little bit.
It is historical though. It's the first time they've done a sequel like back to back.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah,
it's-
good for it. Yeah.
They
Wait,
used
was
to
Modern
say-
Warfare 2 last year?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
for some reason I thought it was Black Ops Cold War.
No,
They're,
it's-
they're confusing me because they got too
Yeah.
many Modern Warfare 2s and 3s.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
do.
It's
They
confusing
lost
me because
them.
I feel like
This
we
is
do
the
this every
third
year.
third
so.
one, right? The second
so
third
crazy,
one or the
like-
third one.
It's the
in their
second,
mind,
third
they're
one.
like, there is no better way to name this. We just must reuse the names. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
you're right.
I don't know. Hey, that brand,
Modern
recognition.
Warfare 3,
Technically,
2.
it's different because the first one was Call of Duty
Pretty
4
cute.
Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare, yeah.
And then after that, though, it just became Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and then Call of Duty
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 3. So
Wouldn't it be
it's
funny
just-
if it was Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty 4 Modern, yeah, that,
I would love that so
God,
much.
just blow my brains out.
I love
Yeah.
that so much. But you know what? I'm also confused. Even when I want to try it out, like I was looking the other day to see, like, hey, I kind of want to jump into the campaign for Modern Warfare 2 finally, catch up on it, maybe replay 1. But all the stuff and the way that it's connected with Warzone and what you have to buy or not
Yeah.
buy, like,
Yeah.
I got to be honest, even as someone who games a lot, I'm not 100% sure I know the best path forward on just getting access to the campaigns there without downloading
Right.
200 gigs of whatever. I don't know
Yeah,
what.
in
they
like
want you to
3
download
separate
it all,
files
yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. So I don't
Yeah.
think they're doing a
I
very
think
good
once
job
you
for
initiate
customers
the
on this.
download, it'll ask you which one.
When
do
you
wanna
purchase
download.
it,
I
it'll
mean,
tell you
even
what-
going to purchase it,
Yeah.
it says like Call of Duty Warzone. Like that's the thing you're kind
Yeah.
of buying, and then you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's
not
not.
buying.
You're not really buying Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's kind of
It's-
the icon of Warzone.
it feels like one of those. It just feels like the rug being pulled out from underneath you a little bit. It's like, wait, what? What's happening?
Right.
Anyway, all right. Keith David, one of the, I think the only actor who I would have thought of if you had told me to go find an actor to replace Lance Reddick's performance as Commander Zavala in Destiny. Like, I don't know that I would have thought of him. I'm just saying, like, if I would have looked through a list of actors, like, he's the one who would have jumped out to me, I think. And I think you guys are the same way. Like,
Yeah.
excellent like perfect voice.
You
to
traded a
cover
legendary
Marvel.
voice for a legendary voice, so
And
Exactly.
so I think Keith
Yeah.
David is
The only other
awesome.
person that would have fit is Tony Todd. I mean, all three of those
Venom.
guys have legendary
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tony Todd's
yeah,
great
yeah,
for-
yeah.
Great voice.
for that. It's not just the race thing, but also that kind of matters. So, you know, I'm just saying.
There is a similar tone to
He did a nice little like to the fans video I saw on social media, which was kind of cool. Where it just seems like a genuine thing where it's not really a little bit prepared, but not really. Where he's just like, I'm excited to jump in and do this.
he was the arbiter in Halo, so there's a relationship with him and Bungie already there. So that's
Love it.
I'm sure, like, not to be like, well, the second he died, they were like, I know exact. But like, it is interesting that when that vacancy kind of came about, like Bungie was like, hey, well, we kind of have a guy in mind. We have a working relationship with this individual.
That's right.
It seems like a really healthy choice. So
Agreed.
I wonder if Silence will be next. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah,
for Horizon.
Horizon.
Good call.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
But
might go a
they
different
did
direction, though, 'cause they don't
confirm,
have
of
that
course, that
relationship.
all of the work that Lance already did for the game, those lines will all stay untouched, and they'll never remove those from the game. Which is, I think
Good.
we all would have guessed that, but yeah, that's a good call. Leave
They're
those.
not gonna. What do they
They're
do?
not gonna have
with,
Keith David redo.
Not gonna Peter
Nolan
Dinklage
North.
it.
Yeah, they took all
Dinklage.
Dinklage's stuff out. They're like, just put Nolan North in there.
Came from the moon.
Wizards on the moon.
I saw this, and this definitely could be a placeholder date, but Stalker 2 potentially could be releasing in December. So the distributor
I think
updated
it's
its
real.
listing for December 1st, and most people would see that and be like, well, December 1st kind of has a placeholder vibe to it, like
That
they're
sounds
hoping
like
for
similar
December,
game.
but it's a Friday, so it's kind of like, oh, all right. Well, it might actually.
They're also
stay.
demoing the game in like a week or two.
At
Like
Gamescom.
you're gonna be able to play the game at Gamescom.
Oh, good.
So it is I think it's a timed exclusive on Xbox, but it's definitely launching on Xbox and PC
Game
only.
Pass,
It'll
yeah.
be on Game Pass, yeah. So
I'm glad
Those are
that Dev has been able to power through the never-ending war. So that's
I know. I
That's
think they're
really
kind of in
impressive.
multiple locations
Very
now. Like
impressive.
they're in like the Czech Republic, I think, and a couple other spots.
well, I
They've
thought
had
they
to-
were headquartered in Ukraine somewhere. I didn't know that.
They
Okay.
were. I'm saying like they've had to since
Yeah, I think they
disperse.
moved.
Oh,
I
they
think they
had to
moved.
since this.
Right.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I got
Which
yeah.
I mean that makes sense. So.
you. Yeah, of
Absolutely.
course.
THQ Nordic had a showcase recently, and they announced a couple of really cool things I wanted to highlight for us.
Oh yeah,
Let me-
they did. Yeah.
Let me go through the non-exciting things, and then we'll talk about the couple of really exciting things. Some of this sounds interesting, though. This Outcast, A New Beginning, they're kind of rebooting this Outcast world. And the way they describe it, though, I didn't watch the trailer for it. It's open world with jetpack traversal with a modular weapon system coming to PC, Series X, and PS5. I was like, all right, jetpack. I kind of want to see how that works.
Yeah.
Like,
Show me how that plays. Yeah.
show me that thing. But that's supposed to, I don't think they gave a date for that. Same with Titan Quest 2, which is very much a Diablo ripoff. But it looks kind
Wow.
of fun, I guess. It's an action RPG, kind of top-down looking thing. A Gothic remake, Alone in the Dark. Those both got trailers. Last Train Home. Those are games that had been announced in the past that they just gave trailers for. Classic RTS looking game called Tempest Rising coming to PC. Trine 5 comes out actually in a couple weeks on August 31st. That's a fun little side-scrolling multiplayer series. And then Recreation with like Rec, get it? Like Rec,
Oh,
I don't get it.
car
like
wreck
car wreck.
I don't
Gotcha.
get it.
with a W. It sounds kind of like Burnout meets Forza, because the idea is it's open world. You can go wherever you want and create stuff and have races, or you can just cause havoc and just destroy everything and wreck stuff because it's recreation. So anyway, I don't know if it's any good or if it looks amazing or anything. I just know the concept of it sounds interesting.
Hope it's by the Burnout folks. I don't know what they're doing.
Making
Yeah,
Need for
so
Speed games.
Oh, are they?
Criterion.
Okay.
Yeah.
the two THQ Nordic games that were announced that caused me to stand up. No, they didn't, but I got excited about both of them.
Out
There's-
of my
Stood
seat.
up.
There's
Stood
an action adventure multiplayer game set in the world of South Park called Snow Day, and that is coming out in 2024. The trailer for that I did watch, and it does look like a lot of fun, and it looks like South Park stuff. So
They're
at
3D,
first
though. That's the catch. It's 3D characters.
It's four player. It's 4-player co-op. I don't really get what it is.
kind of beat 'em up action RPG looking thing. I'm not
Yeah,
sure. If
yeah.
there's any
Maybe
other
it's a
stuff.
South Park Diablo, but I don't know why they went 3D for that. But maybe it's just like an easier camera angle, I guess. I don't
Maybe.
know.
Maybe. I think it could be a lot of fun, hopefully. And then they also announced, I don't think there was any footage for this, but the Last Ronin, the Ninja Turtles Last Ronin
Yeah,
video
yeah.
game.
Which I guess
Confirmation.
was like the actual first real reveal of it. Like I think like the other one.
Yeah, it's
was
been
kinda like
rumored
a-
for months.
It was
yeah.
rumored, right? Yeah. So no date, of course, revealed, but it's just a little bit bittersweet. Like the sweet part is that this is being made. How awesome! And I
Yeah,
shouldn't even
right.
say bitter, but like the developer choice is interesting. It's the folks who remade Destroy All Humans and Destroy All Humans 2. It's like,
Huh.
okay, all right.
Hey guys, well, remember when we let Acer remake all of Knights of the Old Republic? That worked out really well.
That was
You know,
great.
you got to let
It did.
people who do remakes only give a chance
Yeah.
sometimes. So.
Yeah.
So we'll see how
What,
that goes.
With this one, the trailer I found interesting, even though there's no gameplay or anything, but they're definitely committing to that story as written. You know, where it's
it was like a 2020 comic book series, right?
like
it was
he's the
recent.
only one left. That's it. The rest of them are gone. You know,
And he's
The
like
picture was so
avenging-
cool.
he's
He has like
avenging.
all their weapons, and
Yeah.
It's a big reveal of who
Yeah.
actually is the last Ronin too. Like you don't really quite know which turtle it is
Yeah.
until the very
Yeah.
end of the comic.
Yeah, he's avenging his
Oh, that's
bros, which
cool.
is really awesome.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
he's using all the
Oh,
he's
man.
using all the weapons, right? So you
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know which
Yeah,
one.
I'm
is
so
like
rooting
you
for this
like
game.
it's
God, I hope
obvious
it's
to be
good.
like, oh,
Me
it might
too,
be
man.
Leonardo or Raphael because like they're so hardcore.
They're the
but,
leaders. Yeah.
Who knows? It could be somebody else. So.
It's
I am
Splinter
too,
the
man.
whole
Like
time.
the idea of like you can swap between
April
fighting
O'Neil.
styles.
Yeah,
like
she's
you can just swap to different weapons and stuff like that. Like I
I think it's
hope,
gonna be cool. Yeah.
hope that's how it works. Last but not least, Lollipop Chainsaw remake got a delay and a new title. It's coming out next summer now. They want more time to work on it. It's just not ready. They said they want it to be high quality, and they're calling it Lollipop Chainsaw Repop.
Repop.
Which means
Okay.
she'll be fully dressed.
Sure.
There'll be no popsicles. There'll be no sexual content.
No, I think that would have been the 2023 version. They're like, let's hope 2024 we go back to good old fashioned.
Yeah, they're
USA,
really
Yeah,
you know?
banking
They're
on
gonna
all
do a
of
180,
Breaking Bad
huh?
over the next
Right?
year,
180.
yeah.
Thank you.
Let's do a
Yeah.
180.
They're hoping Trump will
Misogyny is
become
coming back.
president, and then they can go back to being like man whores and
Sure.
racist.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
All right, guys, I
Good
think we
lord.
have time to do this. We're
Yeah.
just now at 2 hours. I think we could get in 20 minutes, maybe 25.
Yeah, the last time we did like a character tournament, it
didn't
went
take
pretty
too long.
fast because it was like, well, obviously this person wins against it, you know, like so.
Now, some of
yeah.
this is going to be a little, I mean, it's all so silly. And it happened in the first one, too. So if you remember in the first one, our top four were Sam, in no particular order, it was Sam Fisher, Solid Snake, Aloy, and Marcus Phoenix were our kind of final four. And Marcus Phoenix finished fourth, Aloy was third, Sam Fisher was second, and Snake finished first. That's kind of how we wrapped it.
Very disappointed that Jin Sakai did not make it further, but that's okay. It happens.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. I was looking at that too. I was like, man, he got
It's
knocked out a little bit early.
It's
but
probably a curse of the matchup, you know.
I think we
Sure.
and we'll do it here too. I'm sure we'll lock in on like one ability of one person. Like, well, they're gonna be able to stealth right behind him and just kill him instantly. Like, that's how we operated with that one. This was a
Yeah.
little different. So
Powers.
if you weren't here for that, if you weren't watching for that, we did a kind of third person protagonist tournament. Like, who would win if these characters faced off? And I focused on third person games just to kind of give us some categories. At some point we might do like first person games. So now we do like Doom guy versus Master Chief versus Wolfenstein guy and all that kind of stuff. BJ Blazkowicz and all that. So we can get down to that a different time. So that was all non-magic characters, or at least folks that were somewhat in the realm of reality. That's why you had your Aloy and your Splinter Cell and those kind of games. Well, now it's third person that have magic and or supernatural abilities. The only ones I excluded were like superheroes. So like that takes us down a whole different rabbit hole of who would win.
Yeah,
a
if
superhero.
Superman were in here, it'd be like, oh well, then who?
Right. So I avoided that.
Kryptonite.
Just
Nobody
for
can
like
beat 'em.
video game
Yeah,
characters
true.
that are magic and supernatural. So let me get this thing going here. Oh, and by the way, if we do it-
is Jesus Christ in this? Because he does have a video game.
oh, he
It's
does
true.
now. That's true.
It's true.
I am
Jesus wins. Jesus wins. There we go.
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
There's
Jesus
something I
saved.
never thought I'd hear Daniel say.
Oh, you clipped that out.
I'm just gonna clip that. Jesus wins with his hand up too. Jesus wins.
Jesus.
All right, let me see if I can. I always have trouble sharing my screen on this darn thing. Okay, let me just share the whole monitor.
Yeah,
See what
the whole
happens.
Oh.
Yep, Tim Geddes wouldn't run into this issue.
All right. No, Tim Geddes will just come in here with some dumbass
Tim
opinion.
Geddes is a man of the people, and everybody loves
It
him.
kicks me
okay?
out when I do this. I don't know why. Like I
That
hit
is
share
so
screen
weird.
and then it hangs up. It's just like leave.
It usually takes 3 or 4 times, right? So
I
the third or
know.
fourth time's
This
a
is
charm.
the dumbest thing ever. All right, let's try this.
Skype for old people.
I know. We get
Bill
made fun of for
Gates-
using Skype.
Just get your shit together, man.
Can you see
what's
it?
the deal?
No.
No.
Now it's just us again, but we can't
We
see
can
you.
hear you, but we can't see you now.
This
So
is
like,
so
it's,
stupid.
I know.
This is so janky. Let's try one more. Let's try this.
It was working like 16 updates ago. I'm not sure why they have to update it so much.
No, still nothing. It's
Nope.
telling me that I'm successfully sharing my screen with you guys. It's even got it
lying.
highlighted red.
Cool.
All right, let me try one more thing, and
You're
then we might just have to
successfully
close it.
not
I
sharing.
can see your face now. Yay.
Yeah, it's because I stopped sharing. This is really annoying. Okay, give me 1 second. Doo-doo-doo. I wonder if I just have permissions shut off or something. All right. Oh, you know what? It might be because I use that Brave browser sometimes, and that's what I was
You
using.
trying to be brave?
What the hell is that?
It's
Yeah, that
I
makes
mean, it's
sense.
a Chromium-based browser, but it doesn't track. Like it can't have cookies and stuff tracking after you. So it might be
I
that.
see. Well, that's not suspicious at all, dude.
We know what you're doing online.
Doing
Black
did.
lives don't matter.
Oh,
You can't
gee.
track it.
Jeez.
What is
Tim
happening?
Tim is
is
confirmed cat turd on Twitter. On not Twitter, sorry.
It's not very stunning.
Oh man,
Stunning.
the difference is clear. Like now I'm getting these little pop-ups at the bottom, like the little like, what can you do with Bing? Like it's like all the little things that normally are advertised on sites. That other browser blocks all those third-party. Like
Oh,
Google.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have a couple plugins for that.
All right, now let's try. Now let's try, guys. One more time. Nope. Where is it? Is it the right one? Okay.
There we go.
Hey!
2 times. There we go. Just 2 times this time, Tim.
Okay, now just remind me next time. Hey, you got to use Chrome for this to work.
That's what it is.
All right. So can you see the names? I tried to zoom in as much as I can while you see the whole thing. Can you see it well enough?
Zooming in on my screen.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is a collection. I think the total count I ended up landing on was that's like 42, 43, something like that. But I did it in alphabetical order, and then I told this platform, it's called Challenge, where you can set up your own tournament. I just told it to randomize the seeding. So it's completely random. It wasn't like by any sort of power rating or anything like that. And so because there's an odd number, there's a first round, and then there's a whole bunch of buys that just randomly were assigned. So that's how this works. Sorry if you don't like it. That's the way it is. So we're going to jump right into this. We're not going to go through all the names. We're just going to hear the matchups or see the matchups if you're watching us. And I'll read them out loud if you're just listening. And then we'll each vote and for each one to advance. So we'll start at the beginning here with Zagreus, the main character from Hades, going up against Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Power of friendship always wins, Sora. Power of friendship always wins every time.
Oh.
I mean,
and
Tell me I'm
Zagreus
wrong. How often does he lose in that game, and how often does the power of
Zagreus
friendship
does
win?
die a lot. That's how he gets his power.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, the thing is, Zagreus has access to a lot of weapons, but Sora, like,
So does
I mean,
Sora.
Sora's got
does he
all
not
the
have 1,000
keyblades.
keyblades to use?
He's got Goofy
Yeah.
and Donald.
Yeah.
You fight
I'm gonna go with
Sephiroth, right?
Sora
So-
just because you don't start off with crap with Zagreus. You're gonna die.
Yeah, you're gonna die a lot. So if this is a 1-kill win, Zagreus isn't dead forever, but he lost this round, right? So he's I think Sora wins this one. I'm with you.
Yeah, I'd say Sora.
Is it all 5 of us?
Sora.
His dumb clown shoes. Yeah.
I can't see all your faces, so you'll have to like just. I didn't.
Jeff is just chuckling.
I'm talking to nobody because I'm alone. I'm at my house.
Oh,
obviously.
sure.
Oh, okay, got it. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Zagreus because I don't like Sora's hair. So
Okay, that's a good reason. I like that. That's good.
All
So you
right.
wanted to make sure he got a vote on the way out. That's fair.
I don't. This matchup is so not Jeff's matchup like at all. I just don't.
It's all right. But you can't abstain. That's what makes this fun. Is you have to vote, even if you don't know. All right, here we go.
Ryu.
Sonic versus Ryu from Ninja Gaiden.
Sonic
Ryu.
eats chili dogs. There's something special about him. It's Ryu. Ryu all day.
Something special.
We're gonna
there
go
we
with
go.
pettier
Well, you
reasons
listen to like
next time.
weird J-pop music and yeah. You
I
suck,
actually
Sonic.
think it would take
Go
Ryu
Ryu.
a while to track him down because he's annoyingly fast, but Ryu kills him. Sonic can't do anything to Ryu.
Also, if he
Yeah.
gets the Chaos Emeralds, though, he goes supersonic.
Nah, I
Yes.
don't care. Yeah, Ryu has a sword that sucks his like life energy out of him. He's still alive. He's fine.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Is everyone on the Ryu bandwagon?
Yeah, Ryu.
I don't. I've never played Ninja Gaiden, so I'm gonna have to go Sonic. I don't.
All
I don't know
right,
anything
I like
about
it. I like
No,
the
you know what?
Rieslings so far. These
I
are
want to
good.
go. I want to go fast, so I pick Sonic.
Oh, you picked Sonic? I have to edit it. It has to be accurate, guys. It has to be accurate. Hang on.
Has to be
It
accurate.
really doesn't. It really doesn't.
Otherwise, it's rigged.
This is hilarious matchup. Cloud Strife versus Chai from Hi-Fi Rush.
Chai.
All right. I mean, poor Chai.
are we
Poor
doing?
Chai.
He's over there playing a song, and Cloud just slices him into so many pieces. While
Yeah. I mean,
attacking
Omni
with him.
slash, and he's done. Like, I mean, come on. Like,
I'm gonna pick Chai for this one.
no. God damn it, guys. Cloud. I'm gonna pick Cloud.
Cloud.
Yeah, it's Cloud. Yeah.
Obviously.
Cloud
Actually,
has too much.
If you
Cloud
had
has
put
too
the
much
cat here, I
amnesia.
would've
I'm going
said the
Chai.
cat.
All right. So Chai got 2 votes. He held his own.
Too much amnesia.
Cloud's gonna move
Yeah,
on.
too much amnesia.
Yeah,
Cloud's
no,
gonna
he's
be like,
gonna
"What
go
am I
through
doing
it.
here? I don't know what's going on."
He
All right, now
wasn't
we got,
subjected to,
this is a good one.
Mako poisoning.
Now we got Cal Kestis from the Star Wars Jedi games going up against Cassandra from the Assassin's Creed Odyssey game.
Sweet.
This isn't a
Cal
quality
Kestis literally has the
podcast.
Force.
Cal easily.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a
destroyed.
lightsaber, so yeah, he's got.
This I just meant this is a good one because I know who both of these people are. This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cal is.
She's powerful, but I think he's got too much in his arsenal.
Yeah,
for
and
her
he
to go up
may have some dark side tendencies sometimes. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Maybe.
I'm just saying.
I think we're all on the Cal.
He's not above force choking a bitch. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
Sometimes you gotta. Sometimes you gotta.
All right,
So, yeah,
that's
Cal,
our
Cal.
cold open right there.
Sorry, because yeah, sometimes you got four.
It's Jesus
More-
wins.
It's more
and
like
then
a steaming hot open because that was on fire right there.
That's what you should do. You should edit like Jeff saying he's not above force choking a bitch, and then immediately cut into Dan saying, "And Jesus wins."
Right. Jesus be choking a bit.
All right, we got Echo from Convergence, League of Legends story, or Rasputin from Psychonauts 2.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, man.
Can I be not applicable?
I think
don't wanna
Echo's
vote for
Rasputins
either
are all
of
just mostly fun and slam people around. Echo could freeze time and kill him pretty quick.
All right, I'll go with
Sorry.
Echo.
I don't even know who
That's
Echo is, but
All right, we're gonna give it to Echo.
Arcane,
Yeah,
bro.
Echo,
Echo is the one that can like fight amazingly. I don't know what to tell you.
yeah, I'd have to look up Echo.
I don't know. Kyle, I haven't heard you in the last two. Do you have opinions that I'm just not hearing?
Oh no, I don't care about any of this.
Oh,
particular-
come on,
This
this is
this
so
one. No, the
Oh,
last
that
one.
guy.
So
Yeah, the last
important.
one I said Cal, but this one I don't have
All
any
right.
opinion.
Yeah, I hear you. Kratos going up against Samus from Metroid.
Oh, jeez.
Kratos.
Samus is just a chick in armor. Kratos is the God of War. All right,
Yeah.
Dude, I am so on board with that argument without any other context. That's all.
that's it.
I mean,
I mean,
with you.
One
Kratos
and done.
literally
We're
goes
done.
to hell and crawls his way out of there, and he's like, "I'm gonna still kill the gods." Like, so
Right.
yeah, Kratos.
Samus
yeah.
like gets hit. And she's like, "Oh, I lost all my powers again." Like, no, I'm out. I'm out on all that. No. It's
You
Kratos.
gotta start another game over.
Yeah, Samus is fragile.
All
I
right,
got I got a vlog about it.
all right, so we're all on.
Jason
the Kratos
Schreier
train
is
on
like
that.
losing his mind right now. Like,
Yeah, because he's
Oh my
active
God!
listener and fan of the podcast, Jason Schreier.
yeah.
I don't think
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is very close either. Dante from Devil May Cry against Senua from
Yes.
Hellblade.
Dante.
Another dramatic.
Yes.
female
Senua just has a
character
rampant
versus
case
male
of like
badass.
bad brain.
She'll start
Dante's
talking to
just-
him real close to his face, and he's like, "Just die, get out of here."
Yeah.
I don't do conversations.
All right, Kyle Katarn from the Star Wars Jedi Knight games going up against
Oh.
Jack Joyce from Quantum Break.
Kyle Katarn. Kyle represent.
Kyle represent. That's a cheat. That's not fair.
Yeah, it's
I do
biased.
think Kyle
That's Kyle
beats him.
bias.
Kyle bias. Yeah.
It's Caius right there. It's Kyle
It's a
bias.
Caius, yeah.
Does anyone think Jack Joyce would be able to beat a Jedi?
Yeah, I mean he can
No.
stop time too. So yeah,
I don't
sure.
know enough about either one, to be honest.
I don't know anything about Kyle, but I mean, not the present company. I mean
Yes,
the
I got you.
Jedi.
How much time do y'all have? I can tell you about him.
But so we got at least one for
hours.
Jack Joyce, right?
yeah, he can like stop
I went
time and
Kyle.
stuff. So
I feel like
Alright.
the Jedi still kind of, yeah. I mean, the Jedi's, I don't know how far into his training he is, but yeah.
All the way, he's a Jedi master.
Yeah, by
There
the
you
end
go.
of by
There
the
you go.
end of the only game where he's the main character you control, he's like one of the more powerful ones alive.
Yeah. Also goes to the dark side, so
Oh,
Yeah.
wah, wah.
All right, guys. Siri from The Witcher going up against Amaterasu from Okami, the dog.
for some reason I heard Siri and I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
Siri.
like iPhone Siri? Okay, that's weird. All right. I guess that's a game. Okay.
I think Siri
Siri-
like blinks to this dog and slices it up pretty quick.
But not Siri from the show.
No,
she's
Siri from the
playing
game.
Siri from the game.
Yeah, I think she
yeah,
wins
Siri
this
from the
one,
game
too.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never played Okami, so I guess I would.
Okami's
I would
great. You would love it, Dan. You would.
I've never played
absolutely love
Okami either, and
You would
I
hate
don't-
it. It's a Zelda game. You would hate it, Jeff. You'd absolutely
Oh,
hate it. You'd hate
okay,
everything
good.
about it.
It is a
I'm
Zelda
going with
game.
Siri because
Dog.
isn't Siri cute? I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is. Yeah,
I
she's
don't
cute.
know if you're allowed to say that. I don't know if that's.
Oh, is she
in
not
the game,
old
it's
enough
okay
in
to
the
say.
game?
In the game, it's okay to say.
Oh my
I think.
God,
Okay,
what is
alright, that's
what is
fair,
this? What is this?
I don't know how old
all right,
she
guys,
is. I
we
have
got
no idea.
2B from Nier Automata going up against Hugo from a Plague Tale game.
Oh, give me a
What?
freaking break.
So we have this killer assassin robot, and then we have a kid who's got a huge army of rats that are coming out of the ground after her.
I mean, that's definitely the problem, but to be
Yeah, but
messing things
I
up.
don't know
I'm
a
going
2B
with-
who
I'm
has
going with
laser beams
upskirt.
and cares about rats at
Upskirt.
all, to be honest.
Yeah, sure.
I
yeah.
think she would have no problem with his powers.
Hugo
taking
turns
him
into
down.
a little bitch when he uses that ability too. So
That's true. It's true.
Amicia, my headaches.
Amicia.
Amicia.
All right, I don't think this is a very hard fight for Samanosuke here against Link from Legend of Zelda. Listen, I love Link. He's one of my favorite protagonists to play as in a game. I just don't think in a one-on-one battle to the death.
Seminosuke is the better fighter.
I think
Yeah, I don't know. I
Samanosuke
think
from
Link's got Goku syndrome, and it's just like anytime something's asked of him, he's like, "Yeah, I'll do that," and he does. He just.
So
Yeah.
you think a powered-up Link could give Samanosuke some problems?
Depends on what's in his arsenal, what gadgets he has available,
He's
right?
I mean, we
someone
gotta
who's in
just-
full demon mode, you know.
We gotta just assume that these folks can pull out whatever tools they would have in a
Sure.
game that you're playing
Sure.
with. You know, I mean, outside of
Uh,
something that is like instant death.
Samanosuke was pretty powerful.
Yeah, he's got
And
the
he
demon
has-
powers,
he
right?
has the
I
demon powers.
love Link, but I gotta go with the Onimusha guy. I think
I'm
he's.
gonna go Sammy.
Hmm.
Him and I are
Link
homies.
Link for me.
Link. Okay.
someone
Good
not
stuff.
gonna vote for him. I'm gonna go Link.
Oh, Dan, you're the tiebreaker.
Oh shit. Ah shit.
You will never get an Onimusha game again if you vote against him.
I don't think
We're
it
I've
never
never
works.
get
played
one
on
anyways,
Onimusha. That's
so
why I'm not
Capcom
voting
is
for it.
listening.
Capcom
to
is
what you're
watching
saying.
this. Yes. Yeah. Actually, they
I-
stopped. After we made
I
fun of them.
love Onimusha so much, but I gotta give it to Link. I
Alright.
just
I'm
it's my
actually pretty
favorite.
happy with that. Yeah. I was
can
trying to
play
be like
flute in real
realistic.
time.
I like it. All right, guys, let's go to round 2 here. We've got Raiden from Metal Gear Rising. So this is the
Raiden,
Metal Gear Rising
Raiden.
version.
Oh,
against
jeez.
Sora.
Can beat him
Yeah.
up
Actually, he
naked.
doesn't use magic. That's his exoskeleton suit that gives him his powers. So.
Right.
But isn't it like supernatural still, sort of?
How much
Not
time do you
super-
have, Tim? Tim, how much time do you have? Do you want me to...
How much time do you
It's
have?
it's
Is the best
unrealistic.
question to
It's
respond to
unrealistic technology that has basically made him like a super.
All right, whatever.
something. If we had put him in
Raiden.
realistic fighting, he would have won it so quickly. All right, we all think Raiden would destroy Sora, don't we? No.
Yeah, I
Raiden-
totally know who
Raiden
Raiden is, so I totally know how to answer this.
No, I'm gonna
Uh,
give one vote for Sora because Jeff
Yes.
likes his hair. Okay.
Naked Raiden could beat Sora's ass.
Oh jeez, naked right would do it at his cartwheels.
All right, we got Cole McGrath from Infamous against Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank.
What the
Cole.
hell?
Cole.
Yeah, Cole, definitely Cole.
Ratchet's
Cole is
literally an
basically a
animal.
superhero.
I'm gonna give Ratchet the win just because so he gets a vote, but also because I just feel like with one of those, at least one of his weapons has to be effective against Cole, and he'll figure out which one, and it's gonna hurt him. I think it's gonna take him down. But
Yeah,
Cole
I
takes
would go. I'm definitely going with Cole. But if you had said Clank, game over for Cole.
Sure.
all right, guys, the main character from Hogwarts Legacy going up against Ryu from Ninja Gaiden.
I mean, he's dodging those spells, right? Like he's fast enough to be dodging spells.
Fastest
Yeah.
F boy.
I think
Uh-huh.
if this were like Voldemort or some like adult super master caster, then maybe. But I think Ryu would take him out.
Yeah, Ryu.
Sure.
Dave.
Yeah. So the
But
ninja
they
win.
can use ancient magic, unlike other wizards. So
can.
something of Avada
He might
Yeah,
throw
but the whole
something to
time
stun
he's-
him.
talking and moving his wand, his head would already be sliced off.
All right, let's
I'm
give him
gonna-
at least one.
I'm gonna represent my wizard brethren.
Alright.
Like I'm a wizard too. I don't know why I just outed myself like
Sure.
that. That's really weird.
Sure. You'd be out in yourself.
All right, guys. Shepard from Mass Effect going up against Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy.
I mean,
Cloud.
Cloud's gonna be.
Cloud. Cloud.
My
Right?
Shepard
Jiving,
didn't have
you
special
know?
powers. He just had guns. So he's
Uh,
Yeah.
Shepard,
Doesn't he have like the lifting abilities and like?
only if you choose that. You know, you have to choose
Sure.
adept or choose. Yeah.
Shepard's
I was a
main-
soldier, so my
main
character didn't
strength
do any of
is
that.
his motivational speeches, and they're not
Yeah,
going to
Cloud
work.
destroys him.
Yeah.
Cloud destroys him. All
Yeah,
right.
I was gonna say, how much is Shepard allowed to speak to him before they fight? I'm just saying.
Not at all. Cloud doesn't.
You
talk.
realize
Or
Do you
Paragon.
realize that Earth is about ready to end, Cloud? Do you slices them in half?
Yeah, it's
All right,
Cloud.
so
Yeah.
that'll make a nice matchup for the next one. All right,
Oh,
we got Bayonetta going up against Cal Kestis.
Ooh.
Bayonetta.
She's got her witch powers.
She
Yeah,
does.
Bayonetta. She can create a
Cal-
giant kaiju of hair.
Hal's not
think-
above force choking a bitch, so
I was gonna say he's got force powers. So,
Yeah.
But you know,
strong?
he's also a red-blooded man, so she'll be over there dancing. He'll be like watching her,
Yeah.
and then the monster
Yeah.
will chomp.
I
her.
would 100% lose to her.
he
just
does
because-
love witches. We've known
does
this,
love witches.
so-
Dude,
That's
this all
the
comes
witches.
together.
That's his type. Yeah, she's his type. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
Bayonetta takes this one.
He does have a
Actually,
weakness for witches, so
Yeah,
you're actually
that
that is
sounds-
correct. Yeah.
That
It's actually
sounds.
not a
one
long
time-
fight,
This is
now
all
that I'm
science that we're using here, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is science.
All right, Jesse Faden from Controls going up against Geralt from The Witcher.
Oh Jesus.
Geralt. Yeah, Jesse has a gun that does weird stuff. I mean, I guess you can levitate too.
She's gonna say she uses telekinesis.
Yeah, I just don't think any
so
powers
you know
that
who else does?
telekinesis
Geralt,
is
and he uses 1,000 other powers too.
I just
Oh,
don't
well,
think
there you
any
go.
powers
There you
that
go.
she has are anything that he hasn't seen before with everything
yeah,
he's
or
fought.
can't use himself
And
other than.
so
Sure,
I think he
sure.
would take her out. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Even
He
at
is a
her
professional. He is a professional.
He's a professional. Yeah.
Asura from Asura's Wrath
Oh.
against Echo from
Dude.
Convergence.
I mean,
If
yeah.
Azora's
Asura.
Wrath doesn't win this whole thing.
Yeah. I was
I
gonna
think it's
say
gotta
he's
be.
basically Goku.
Why did
Like-
you
I
put him
haven't-
in this? Yeah,
I haven't
he's
played
so
this-
powerful.
I haven't played this game, but I do know that when he maxes out, like nothing can stop him, right? Like
Dude, this game is fun to watch. Like it's a lot of like
Yeah,
cute.
Pick
things, but
this game
holy
up on
crap.
Xbox for $5.
we might
and
still,
we'll have
yeah.
a
for,
great time.
for our purposes, we might have to still have him to be defeated at some point, just to make
I
people
think
who are listening mad.
That game is made
Sure.
up, so I'd like to vote for Echo.
Oh, let's change it. I'll change this. Yes. Okay.
I've never heard of this game in my life. Nobody's ever
Well, then
talked
you
about
should
it.
go give it
so-
a try, Jeff. Go give it a try.
All right, guys.
made it
Joker
up.
from
Fake
Persona
gamer,
5
fake
going up
gamer.
against Frey Holland from Forspoken.
I am not voting
It's
for
Joker.
Frey.
I'm not. No, come on.
No.
Man, we
Alright.
didn't see that
Sure.
coming.
So we saw two protests against the Forspoken character. Do we have any other thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Um,
gonna side with Joker. He's destroying evil through their heart and whatever. And
I'm gonna vote Frey whatever because I'm progressive.
I want to be
Okay.
like Jeff, so I'll vote for her too. All right. but
Yeah,
He
Joker's
will
so
still
we are
literally
not
just be
cancelable.
whining the whole time he's killing her heart. Joker.
sure.
All right, guys. We got War from Darksiders against Kratos
Oh.
from God of War.
Oh, that's fun.
So
That's
here's
a
my
good
take. I
battle.
think actually Kratos is. It's very even, actually, surprisingly even. But Kratos
Yeah.
is angry that War ripped off everything about the God of War games and destroyed.
Yes,
He's
very
like,
much so.
ripped everything off that I already.
Yeah, that's
Kratos
yeah.
has more rage. Who's the angriest? That's about
Kratos
it.
is more angry than War.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah. So,
I was
I
gonna say,
am
they
God
both-
of War.
but I do think War is awesome. That game is underrated by a lot of
Yeah,
people.
for sure.
Or I
Absolutely.
guess unnoticed by a lot of people is a better way to say it. But we all think Kratos for this one.
Yeah,
right?
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, say Kratos.
All right. Here we go. Alexander Mercer from Prototype against the main character from Crackdown.
Oh,
What?
it's Alexander Mercer.
I never
Pass.
don't-
played Prototype,
He's
Wait,
another,
is it Terry
he's another
Crews from
superhero.
Crackdown?
so I'm going to go with Crackdown.
If it's Terry Crews from Crackdown, I'm going Terry Crews.
Well, I don't think you control him, do you?
Yeah, you do in the third game. You can choose.
So
him.
it's whoever you pick as your main character. So it could be Terry Crews in this case. I was just thinking of in Crackdown when you're leaping across the city and slamming things down and just destroying. Like I feel like the
That's
Crackdown.
Alexander Mercer is a superhero. He's literally like he can transform his arms into blades and he can
Yeah.
jump from
Oh,
building to building. He's a superhero.
Why haven't I played this game? All right. I'm still
Prototype
going to
is
go with
an
Crackdown
awesome
for now.
game.
I got Derek on Prototype. I'm on Crackdown.
Now,
Crackdown.
I haven't played either one of these, so I don't.
should technically Alexander and Cole not be in this because they are superheroes, or
They're
I don't know.
essentially
And
superheroes.
Asura, we could say all of a sudden in the next round they were disqualified. That's why they lose. That's how that could be our reasoning. I'm not going to go back and remove it now. It's too much.
I'll just choose Alexander because I mean I recall the character. It's similar to Cole where he's like he's
very
basically a
much like
superhero.
Cole.
Like
And then is everyone on Prototype train on this one?
Yeah, I'll go with Prototype. I think they sold me on it.
And then Kyle, what did you say?
Also, Prototype's just a
Crackdown.
better game name.
Crackdown. Okay, so
so
3 to
whatever.
2. But Prototype character moves on. All right, we've got William from Neo going up against Dante from Devil May Cry.
Dante.
in
Pretty
Dante.
good fight, but I think Dante's
don't-
got too many powers.
Yeah, I would say Dante.
I didn't know
Okay.
Neo had anybody American named in it. That's kind of
William.
funny to me.
Yeah.
That
He's their
tickles
Geralt.
me.
He's their Geralt. And the
Tickles me.
first boss you fight in the first one, Derek. That's his name.
Yep.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
William versus Derek. And
William
I
then
versus
thought it was like a
Derek.
Japanese developed game. That's so funny to me. I
It
don't
is.
know why that
Well,
tickles me.
William is actually a real character, like in real life.
Yeah, it's an actual English general or something like that.
All right, so we got your main character from Wolong Fallen Dynasty. It's unnamed until you name him or her, I think. And they're going up against Kyle Katarn.
I'm not voting for Wolong because you die in like the first 10 seconds.
I'm on
so you're
Kyle
obviously
Katarn.
Go with
not
the Jedi.
that powerful.
Go with
Yeah.
the Jedi.
Go with the Jedi,
All
right?
right, we're all in on the Jedi on that.
I'm gonna go with Ka.
One Jedi already got bewitched by Bayonetta, so this guy survived the Wolong.
Sure.
All
Whoa.
right, guys.
Oh my
Kirby
god.
going up against Siri.
Kirby eats Siri.
Yeah, exactly.
Beat Siri, yeah.
If we're going by Smash Brothers rules, Kirby is like one of the strongest characters
Kirby's the
in
strongest
existence.
character.
That's
like
why
King
Kirby
entity
against
in
Asura in the
existence.
Yeah.
final is my wish. All right, here we go.
Sorry, Siri.
Kirby's just gonna suck her off or whatever.
Yep.
That's exactly what's going to happen, though. All right, we got Mewtwo from Pokemon.
My brain meant to stop me from saying.
but it didn't. It didn't do it.
It
It's
just kept saying the words.
it's a very
I like
familiar
this.
couch that you're sitting on that caused you to say
I like
that.
this one. I like this one.
Mewtwo going up against Talion from Middle Earth games. Mewtwo from Pokemon against Talion from Middle Earth.
I mean, he's just one of.
I
He's
don't
one of-
remember Italian.
He's the main character.
He's the main guy.
Main guy.
I did
Uh,
not know that was his name. I thought his name was Shadow. No, I don't know what his name was.
He stealths around and he has like the ghost elf helping him have
I'm
supernatural
gonna
powers.
guess Mewtwo is more powerful, but I don't really know.
Mewtwo is like one of the
Mewtwo's
greatest legendary Pokemon in all of
Yeah.
the gens.
I
And
think,
he has his own movie, so
I think Talion has already shown susceptibility to that because of the fact that he's possessed by a ghost. I think Mewtwo wins with his
Talion
psychic.
literally died in the first game, so yeah. Sorry.
Mewtwo.
Yeah, it's all me.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, Mewtwo, definitely.
All
Mewtwo.
right.
No, I'm gonna go with Talion because I'm never gonna vote for Pokemon ever in my life for
Okay.
anything.
I mean,
You just
that's
did.
Ever.
solid logic.
Getting
That
really
is good
tired
logic.
Of your
I do like that
nonsense,
logic.
Jeffrey.
Your main character from Elden Ring against 2B.
Upskirt wins.
2B.
I mean,
I
it
feel like
depends on how
2B
pervy you're.
I feel like
That's
2B
her
would
name.
essentially. She would be a really tough boss in an Elden Ring game, and you would die to her like 100 times before you finally figured out how to beat her. So I
Sure,
think she
sure.
wins in a one-on-one.
See,
2B.
see,
Yep.
another game beating Elden Ring. Tim, look at that. Look at that.
Oh, that's
180.
how that works.
I think that's how
it's a
180
180.
works
It's a
too.
180.
I don't know.
All right, guys, we got
Clyde.
Clive from
Oh,
Final Fantasy
hey.
going up against Link.
Yeah,
Clive.
Clive.
That guy's got
Kind of like,
icons. Yeah.
kind of like how they
OP.
faced off in the commercial realm, and there was a distinct winner there too. But who do you think wins in a fight?
Oh.
I mean, Clive is definitely
Oh.
brutal, right? I mean,
Oh.
he's like kicking these like evil dogs that you are like fighting out in a field. Like he doesn't give a shit. Like if
But
he needs to take you out,
I
he's
think-
gonna.
I think Clive wins.
Yeah,
I
quite
do
well, man.
think, especially like we talked about the last matchup, Link would bring all that he's got, but I think Clive wins.
He'll bring a skateboard. for
Talk
some
about doing
reason.
a 180.
Skateboard.
Link plays a flute. He's stupid. Bye. Bye, Link.
He plays a flute.
There's a 180. This is a good theme for this
Ocarina,
episode.
Kyle.
This is a good theme. All right, Raiden from Metal Gear Rising in the next round. Here we go against Cole McGrath from Infinite.
Cole McGrath sounds like a country star singer, so it's obviously Raiden.
Try that in a small town or whatever the song is. I've
And
never heard
that's
it.
Hey.
why I'm infamous.
Kyle, what can Raiden do in that game? Does he have like what can he do? Does he have superhero like?
Super-
I don't know. Are we
fast.
talking about Revengeance or are we talking about Rising?
Rising, right?
Yeah, I mean you can do literally anything. They
He's like superhuman speed.
he's
Superhuman.
he's got it all. Superhuman speed. He's durable. He
Right.
can get stabbed 1,000
Doesn't he like
times.
take down actual giant robots like Metal
Oh, he
Gears?
fights Metal Gears. He literally
Easily.
single-handed.
with
so-
a sword?
It's not
Yeah.
like he's a pushover.
No.
I'm
I'd
going
still go
right in on
Cole.
this one.
Cole McGrath fought
Cole,
a couple
Cole
like
would
angry
just use
people.
lightning and fry his metal armor.
I mean,
All right, I like that's a good logic.
You,
Jeff,
you
who do
can't
think
convince me
makes-
Cole is not like the real name of the lead singer for Sugar Ray.
Is that why you're
Cole
going
McGrath,
with
Cole
Raiden?
McGrath is a that
Every
game is-
morning there's okay.
I love that
So I'm gonna go with Metal Gear. I think you guys sold me on Metal Gear Rising. You sold me on Raiden.
I'm just going with that because I was trying to follow the rules, so I was gonna pick Raiden. So
Trying to follow the rules. Oh, because
Sometimes
Cole's
I
also
listen-
disqualified. Yeah.
Sometimes I listen to your arguments, and sometimes I go with a complete nonsense logic. So
All
let's,
right, we got
Something.
Ryu going up against Cloud Strife from Ninja Gaiden. Ryu, by the way, not Street Fighter.
Ryu.
Sure.
Going up against Cloud Strife. This is a tough one.
So
Jeff,
what does
Jeff, what do
Ryu
you
have at his disposal? I don't know enough about Ryu because Cloud
Oh.
has materia, right? So he can use
yeah.
whatever materia he would have at his disposal.
He's got like a
Ninja Gaiden
soul-absorbing
has ninja
sword,
powers.
and yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Ninja
But I mean,
Gaiden. so I
Cloud is
have to
pretty
go.
fast, even with that giant sword. Cloud is fast.
He is very fast.
But he's not even close to as fast as Ryu.
Ryu's way
Ryu.
faster.
Sure, but I mean, he
Yeah,
can
it's
go
Ryu-
on the
Ryu
But
for me.
Cloud
yeah,
could
Cloud's
fight
got
him-
amnesia. He's a big forgetful boy. You know, whatever.
Cloud could fight him in that dress and make Ryu
The
forget.
That guy's got a brain
It's
injury.
fighting,
You know,
Kyle.
it's Ryu.
All right, so Dan, you're saying Cloud would win,
Yes.
and then Jeff, what do you think would
Dan,
win based on what you know of
fanboy.
these two?
Oh, I don't know anything about Ryu, so I'm gonna go with. I know you guys explained some of it, but I can't change my heart. I want to go with Cloud.
I was gonna say he can summon Knights of the Round. And
I don't
it's-
even want to hear it.
Yeah,
Full of
nah, he'd
shit.
forget to.
Ryu.
So I
He
have
freaking
played.
Ryu.
It's been a while since I played Ninja Gaiden, but he is an absolute one-man army, and Cloud needs people to help him win battles. So I'm gonna go
he
with
does literally have
Ryu.
a party, and Ryu
There's a party with
doesn't,
him.
so.
Ryu is so I'm gonna go with Ryu as by a hair. It's really
All
close.
right, I quit. Bye.
Please, you've been fired for like 5 years.
Hey Dan, that's not the
Not
first
really.
time Final Fantasy VII didn't win a competition.
Boom! Oh, he got you back.
Boom.
All right, Bayonetta going up against Geralt.
Oh, this is a good
Oh, this is
matchup.
interesting.
He
Yeah,
hunts
a
people.
Geralt
witch
has
versus a witch
slept with a
hunter,
ton of
witcher.
women.
Yeah.
He does not care about Bayonetta's boobs.
So
he
he's
wins.
not bewitched. She starts to dance, and he's like, ugh.
I don't really care.
This
I
is
slept
this
with
is literally
people.
Geralt's job. So
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
yeah,
go Geralt.
Yeah. She creates monsters out of her hair, and he kills monsters. I don't know. I'm going Geralt on this one.
Yeah.
I am too. I think he finds
He's
a way.
a witcher.
He's a witcher.
It
He
is his
bewitched
affection.
her.
All right,
is-
are we all on Geralt on this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dan, you too.
Especially if it's Henry Cavill, not Liam
I
Hemsworth.
mean, yeah. If it's Liam, then I rescind my vote.
All right, let's give Bayonetta one vote for the record, just in case it was Liam who showed up to
Very
the fight.
progressive of us.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
yeah. All right.
Can't cancel us now.
All right, we got Asura from Asura's Wrath going up against Joker. Wait, hang on, I'm
Not
getting a
even
call
close.
from. Hang on. Yep, nope. Asura left. He's uninterested. All these weaklings. He's not here. So Joker
Yeah.
I was
wins
gonna
by
say,
default.
yeah. If he stays in this, he has to win because he's
He's
literally
so-
the most
he's
powerful
so
thing in the entire
angry.
world. Yeah.
He was angry at being
He
included
exploded
in
out
this
of anger,
tournament.
so Joker
Yeah,
won.
yeah.
He was angry at even being asked like who would win in this fight.
Right,
He left.
right. Yes.
Actually, first he killed Echo and then he left. All right. We got Kratos from God of War going up against the prototype protagonist Alexander Mercer.
I don't even want
it's
to. I'm not
Kratos.
even gonna like. You guys know who wins this. Come on.
Come
It's
on.
Kratos, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Even
doesn't
with
he defeats gods like the
Alexander's-
prototype guy all the time? That's what he does.
Yeah.
Prototype
I
guy
mean-
got like some juice spilled on him or something.
I mean, he
He's just,
literally
like, some
murdered
guy.
Poseidon with his bare hands, and you watch it in first person. Like it's
He's
amazing.
killed like dragons. No big deal.
How many
Like,
times has Mercer had a threesome? 0. He loses. Okay.
True. Very
What
true.
game was that? One of the first games?
That
Yeah,
was
Kratos
one and
has,
two and three.
Kratos
Hit
has
X.
like orgies in the first 3
Hit
games.
X.
you know?
Oh,
The
that's so
hump.
funny.
It's all of them.
Cliffy B, gotta
Dante
love
from
him.
Devil May Cry is going up against Kyle Katarn from
Kyle
the Star
Katarn,
Wars.
Kyle.
game.
It's Kyle all day. No bias. It's just Kyle.
Sure about that? Are you sure
No
about
bias for the name or the IP at all.
No. Just Kyle. Nothing. Yeah, there's no bias at all.
But Kyle, I mean, Dante's got all sorts of weapons, like all sorts of wacky weapons.
Yeah,
Can the
Kyle Katarn's got the force. He's got the force. I don't know.
I mean,
He's got the force. He's got
Yeah,
the
but
force.
Dante has like Hell Force or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
well, he's got
Dante's
devil
like,
powers. He's got the
Dante's a
devil.
half
He
demon.
does.
He likes pizza. He might as well be a Ninja Turtle, so it's
He likes
obviously Kyle Katarn.
He likes
You've got
speed.
me one over
He's
with
an
that
emo
one.
Ninja
I'm on board
Turtle.
with Kyle now.
I like to pull that from like what the third game that one.
He's basically a Ninja Turtle, so now I'm voting against him. I love it. But Dan, you're saying Dante would beat a Jedi, right?
I mean, I don't know if he actually would, if I'm gonna be honest, but
Kyle Katarn's really powerful, guys.
He's one of the most powerful ones. Yeah. Maybe.
so I mean, like,
I'm gonna
the
go with.
lightsaber-
I'll go with Kyle Kinane or whatever the hell his name is.
Kyle
Kyle
Kinane.
Kinane, yeah.
It's good. I was gonna say because Dante, I don't know if Dante has any weapons that could go against a lightsaber that it wouldn't just cut through, right? Like,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right. So I think we all admit Kyle Katarn takes that one. We'll see. I mean, he's lucky he didn't have to face Bayonetta. We saw what happened to the Last
Well,
Jedi.
when he fights Kirby here in a little bit, he's gonna die. So.
It's a problem. Yeah. Because Kirby and Mewtwo,
no.
I'm gonna guess this fight actually has happened before.
in
Yeah.
Smash, yeah.
I've played this plenty of times, and it's Kirby every time for sure.
Kirby. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Kirby beating Mewtwo here.
That's so interesting. It is one of the matchups you can actually simulate.
You can actually fight this one. We could actually let's go to the footage right now.
Yeah,
roll the footage.
right. 2 level 9 computers fighting each other. Go.
Yep, there we go.
All right, and then the last of this round, we've got 2B from Nier Automata going up against Clive from
Clive.
Final. This is a
Clive,
good
yeah.
fight. This is a
All
good
day.
fight.
2B
Yeah.
still wins, to be honest. Yeah.
Clive.
I mean, he wasn't even like trying to sleep with that chick the whole time. He can resist 2B, so
It's nothing to do with how she looks. I think her powers might
Yeah,
be.
No,
I
it's
think
always about
I
her
watched her fight things bigger than icons in her game, so.
Yeah, I think I'm on the 2B train on this one, and Kyle is too. And I heard.
Yeah, but he
at
doesn't
least-
even need to be an icon to beat her, so I think it's fine.
All right, and then Dan, you said Clive too, right?
Oh, that's
This
right. I
isn't-
forgot. You love Nier
This
too.
isn't which game is better. It's who would win in the fight.
No, I know. I'm just trying to
Okay.
think because also it's been a while since I've.
I
played
actually don't know what
Nier,
I'd pick for which game is better. By the way, just side note. But anyway, because Nier is freaking amazing. I recently been going back and watching clips of it, listening to the music. I'm like, that game
Yeah, it's
rocks. Anyway,
You know what?
Who would
Clive
win?
is always fighting a bunch of weak things, except for occasionally a powerful boss, and 2B is always messing around with some tough guys. So we'll go with 2B.
2B takes it.
God.
All right.
This is a
right.
mistake.
what a cup.
This is a mistake. Just being here has been a mistake.
Science,
I mean,
science.
Cloud's not here is a mistake also.
an enormous
That's fine.
mistake.
Raiden from Metal Gear Rising going up against Ryu from Ninja Gaiden.
That's also
Raiden is a ninja, and he's cybernetic, and he's better than Ryu. So.
Sure.
And he has the super speed to actually match Ryu now. So I think we've got Raiden.
Raiden is naked, so he wins.
well, he's not. You're thinking of original.
No,
one.
Doesn't
no, but at
matter.
some point he's naked.
Doesn't
Dan, let him
matter.
have it.
Oh,
At
is he
some
okay?
point he was
Under
naked.
the armor.
Well, I
under
didn't
the
know
armor
about
shirt.
the nudity, so I automatically go with Raiden.
All right.
Nice.
So he wins by a landslide.
Very
right?
alpha.
I mean, out of
Alright.
spite, I'm picking Raiden because you took Cloud from me. so-
Anybody who has ever
I love it. That's
done
good. That's good reasoning,
naked
too.
cartwills in their life wins. It's auto win.
All right, we got
like a
Geralt going
Gerald
up
is kicking
against,
the crap out of this high school kid all day.
against
for sure.
Joker. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
All
too
day
busy
kicking the
with
crap
thinking
out of
about
it.
homework and
Joker's
shit.
like, oh, what girl am I gonna date? And Witcher, he's already killed him. Gerald's
Joker
already killed him.
shouldn't even be here. It's just because Asura got bored and mad and left, and so like
Say,
Joker shouldn't even be here.
Yeah.
Does Geralt
Technical-
have a heart though?
Technicality.
Is he trying to get into his heart and do all the dungeon
No,
stuff?
Joker needs a team to do that. He doesn't do it on his own. He's dead.
Yeah.
Takes a
He's out.
village. for
He's
Joker.
How can you get a team if you're dead? All right, sorry. Random cipher quote.
All right.
Kratos
Yeah, that-
going up against Kyle.
It's obviously
Katarn.
Kyle Katarn. No biases. No
God.
biases.
God damn.
No,
This
it's
one is
Kratos.
actually
tough.
I can't keep this up. It's Kratos.
Dude,
It's
I
Kratos.
think even if a
Can't keep
lightsaber went
this up.
through Kratos, he'd be bashing Kyle's head in. Wow.
Yeah, it'd be so crazy. Yeah.
Against cement.
I think Kratos defeats Kyle Katarn. So there goes our
Kratos.
last Jedi. Yeah.
I mean, he
we're all
does
on.
have what, like a godlike shield thing. He could probably block. Maybe that would
He'd
block
be able
the
He might even
lightsaber,
block the lightsaber.
I
That's
don't even
could
think a
block him.
lightsaber would hurt Kratos' skin, to be honest.
he would block it with his beard and then punch him in the face.
Sure.
Now we got
Fist will come
Kirby
through the beard.
going up
Kirby.
Yes.
to be.
Yeah, the power of sucking off
Kirby.
is definitely going to win this one. So Kirby.
Yep.
Well, then,
So
ultimately,
ultimately,
does have a shot.
Kirby suck job for the win.
So Kirby just absorbs all these characters. Takes their. We have to. The only character who could beat him is a character who could somehow avoid being absorbed, like somehow attack him before.
no, you didn't say that correctly. Avoid being sucked off.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say it because that's.
I'm not going to say it.
Oh.
Hey
quit
being
such a mark for
sucking
off.
Hey yo. All right. Raiden from Metal Gear Rising going up against Geralt from The Witcher.
I think Geralt
These are
meets
two very
naturally,
moody
right?
boys.
But
These are-
Geralt
they're very moody.
is not
yeah.
fast as Raiden.
He is not
He's
as nearly as fast.
No.
Yeah,
Geralt gets
I
his
mean,
ass kicked a
Gerald is
lot.
literally like a fantasy. You know, this is a sci-fi character versus a fantasy character. I think Raiden
Yeah.
all day.
Raiden would probably beat him, although I do think Geralt would figure out some ways to slow him down with like the little Igni or whatever. Not Igni, but the one where he can like slow things down and kind of
His
trap him in a little
abilities.
thing.
Yeah.
I think Raiden will tell the story about how it rained on the day he was born, and Gerald would just kill himself.
Sounds so miserable. All right,
Yeah.
Raiden wins because of that. Yeah,
That's,
Sure.
That's a great. That'd be a hilarious ending.
all right, so Geralt loses. Geralt's like, oh, just kill me.
Oh,
It's
I
like,
can't deal
I'm-
with this angstiness. Yeah,
I'm just judging from everything y'all have previously said about Raiden, because I know Geralt.
he's
but,
the
like,
best and worst character
Yeah.
all wrapped in one. So
But,
Sure.
like, he's
Sure.
my,
So
he's
that's
my
powers.
favorite.
I
He's
I
my
was just like,
favorite Metal
yeah,
Gear.
he's got to be
character.
it.
he's
So I
he's
always-
so
I always
awful
put-
in Metal Gear 2, and then in Metal Gear
Alright,
Solid
so-
4, he's like the greatest character ever.
so everyone said Raiden, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Geralt has been defeated. Kratos and Kirby are facing off now.
I think Kratos could probably not
I
get
think
sucked up by
Kratos.
Kirby.
He would
I
get
think-
sucked. No, actually, I think he would get sucked in and then just axe his way out.
Yeah.
Jeff,
No,
I was
that
just
would be a
gonna
level.
say that.
You're
There are-
inside
Yeah.
Kirby's
Yeah.
body,
And
like
as
getting
Kirby
out
is-
of him. Yeah.
You know how Kirby tries to like flatten to absorb your powers? Kratos won't let him. He's standing up and just rips him apart.
Yeah,
from
Kratos is
Yeah.
just gonna do this like rage explosion thing, right? And it's just
so
Yeah.
funny to think about this. How dumb.
Yeah, I know.
although Kratos
Where's this
does
matchup,
enjoy
Sony
being
and
sucked
Nintendo?
off normally.
Yeah,
But, you know,
right. But he also
but-
continues his adventure after.
Yeah,
said sucking,
yeah.
so-
All right, guys. In our final matchup, we've got Raiden from Metal Gear Rising going up against. Is it Rising or Revengeance? Whatever, from the Metal Gear
Doesn't
series.
matter. Yeah.
Going up against Kratos from God of War. Who wins this
I
match?
still go Kratos.
Yeah, I gotta go Kratos. I think we gave Raiden a good run here, but
Raiden's got speed.
He
I don't
gives
know if
Raiden
he's
a good
always
ride.
cracked like that. I don't know.
Kratos
I
has just like got a
Well,
lot
we've
of
seen
rage,
how
man.
Kratos deals with speed with
Yeah,
Heim-
Heimdall.
you know, Heimdall. So
Oh, that's
sure.
right.
Yeah, that's true. He figured out that element.
He has
so.
solved most of these problems, except for the Kirby one. That was new, and he had no problem with that. So
Yeah.
I think he, I think he wins.
Sure.
All right.
man.
So Kratos takes the tournament, and then for our bronze match, we have Geralt against Kirby. Somehow Kirby survived that shredding, and they're facing off. Who would win between Geralt and Kirby?
What would even be the power that he's stealing? He's stealing, I guess, the Witcher power, which
the eyes.
question.
I don't know.
the eyes.
Again, could be another case where Kirby is a type of monster that Geralt might be called
Yeah, I
in to
think
help.
Geralt like studies
kill.
Kirby for a little while and uses a potion and kills
He
him.
gets
you
a
know?
he gets an anti-suck potion, and then
Yeah,
he
he
wins.
gets an
Yeah.
anti-suck potion.
Anti-suck
Yeah.
potion.
Anti-suck job potion. Yeah.
All right, so there we go.
Yeah, Yennefer, he's like, you know what, Yennefer just sucked me off, so I don't. There's no.
Right.
I'm
right.
good.
There's no way
I
this
can't
appeals
do.
to
You
me
can't
at
do
all.
a double. You know.
By the way, keep that potion away from me, please. That potion
That's
away.
awesome.
So good.
All right, so Geralt finishes in third place. Kirby's in fourth. We have Raiden in second, and Kratos dominates the tournament at the top.
Yeah.
Well
Angry
done,
Dad.
everybody. Well
Angry
done.
Dad wins.
Now, is it Kratos that won? I just
Yeah.
missed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kratos.
So he's doing the Breakfast Club freeze frame
Hey.
with his axe in the air.
There it is.
Ooh.
What fun, useless things we do together. It's awesome.
I love it. It's the best.
It's the tournament that no one asked for. If we do another one of those, if that's something people want to do, I actually already have my next list right now. As of right now, at least, it's video game villains all facing off against
Oh,
each
that would
other.
be fun.
That's good. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
sure.
So that
It's a
might
lot
be
of
one we
things.
do down the road at some point. But all right, well, that wraps us up for this week. Thank you guys for being here and taking the breaks from Baldur's Gate 3 and Atlas Fallen and everything else you're playing. I appreciate it. And by the way, I know it's been an ongoing bit, but Jeff is actually in the area and going to be hanging out with Kyle already all week. And I'm going to
I'll
go
be
hang
right
out with
back.
him this week
Actually,
too.
one sec.
So
Well,
it's been
so-
pretty cool to meet in person. I'm going to go hang out with these guys later this week.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, it's gonna be super fun finally. Yeah.
We haven't been seeing things this whole time. No, I thought we really were imagining.
That's a
Right.
way longer walk than it should
Yeah.
be.
How far away are you guys from each other?
I live in a mansion, so
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh, that
I'm
must.
so tired.
So
Oh,
Kyle's Batman.
There he
I'm
is.
haunted
The
by a Jeff.
The joke that we've always done for years about
Like
what
pushing
was
something
I'm staying in
across.
closet.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
him and Derek living together? You know.
Oh.
Oh.
There it is. Oh, there's the
Oh,
one.
I'm getting walled.
There's the wool we've been needing.
I'm getting
All right,
walled.
guys.
Getting wool.
All right, we'll catch you next
Woolception.
time. Thanks. See ya.